That's him. That's the OG.
Welcome to Fantasy Points live coverage of the 2026 NFL Draft. Theo Greminger with Scott Barrett, Brett Whitefield, and we're going to be joined by many, many more. We are your best possible home for the best possible fantasy football coverage of the 2026 NFL Draft available anywhere. We're also going to be breaking it down with Brett Whitefield, discussing all of these landing spots for the players we've been covering. Brett, it feels like we've been covering these guys forever, but we're finally at showtime here. How hyped are you?
I'm pretty hyped. This is what happens when you start a podcast in November covering the draft. We talk about these guys a lot, right? But I'm pretty hyped, man. It's a culmination of a lot of work.
And Scott Barrett, we are going to get your insight into a lot of these fantasy football landing spots, and we anticipate a few fantasy-relevant players are going to go inside of the first 10 picks. We got to start with Jeremiah Love. Where are you rooting for, Scott? Where's the best possible realistic fantasy football landing spot for Jeremiah Love when you look at where the betting markets are kind of tipping him? Arizona, Tennessee, the New York Giants, and the Washington Commanders, and I'd be shocked if anybody else entered the equation.
Yeah, I think the best of those is also the most likely. I think that's the Washington Commanders via a trade up. That's, kind of all the rumors you're hearing, but that's also, they just fired Cliff Kingsbury because he wouldn't run the ball enough. And, they don't have a lot of depth at that position. And it's clearly a position of importance to the head coach. So, I think that's the most likely landing spot. I think it's a pretty good landing spot. Jaden Daniels, what you have with a hypermobile quarterback, a component of the Konami code is improved efficiency on the ground for that running back. So I think you'll see that. I think you'll get a bell cow workload. And, of those teams, I think it's the most likely and probably the best. Tennessee, you worry about game script and, just getting into scoring position and whatnot. So that's kind of my vibe right now.
And Brett, if you had to bet on it, where do you anticipate Jeremiah Love is going to end up?
City or pick? I think it might be the third pick, but maybe in a trade up. This is how
it's Commanders. Right. I'm telling you, it's good game. Game over.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the third overall pick too. That's where I had it in my final mock draft. You want to read Brett Whitefield's final mock draft or my final mock draft, make sure you check out fantasypoints.com. And speaking of fantasy points, we are just been joined by John Hansen, the guru. John, how are you doing tonight? How hyped are you for the draft?
Doing well, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Curious about all my predictions. I do miss being predictive, so I did a bunch of fantasy skill player picks for all 32 teams on the podcast feed. I did the Best Bets podcast, popped out a couple. Really rooting for Sadiq to go to the Panthers, baby. Let's go. So fired up as usual.
Brett, let's talk about the number 2 overall pick. This has been sort of a back and forth. The two of us have covered this on the 2026 NFL Draft podcast for weeks and weeks and weeks. We argued about it for a while. I argued sort of the Orville Reese. You argued for David Bailey. And now we've kind of come to it where yesterday it looked like almost a lock for David Bailey. Now the betting markets are sort of shifting a little bit to Orville Reese, but it seems up in the air. Where do you think the Jets ultimately go with their decision at 2 overall here?
It definitely feels like David Bailey.
Yeah.
Neither guy makes a ton of sense to me for Aaron Glenn's defense, but I guess he's got to pick one of them because those are the 2 top guys at the premium position of edge rusher. So, but it does feel like David Bailey. I feel like, the Jets really need a pass rush, and he is probably the best pure pass rusher in the draft. So it makes a little bit of sense. Orville Reese feels like a little bit more of an Aaron Glenn guy, but just by a slim margin.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting, and I think it's going to sort of set up how the rest of the top 10 is going to fall. And also it could lead to some trades. John, you've been doing this a long time. Do you feel like this is a draft where we're going to see a number of trades, or do you think teams are going to ultimately stick and pick?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be I'm not feeling a lot of trades. I think that seems to be kind of the word on the street. A little bit of a top-heavy draft. Maybe one team moves back up into round 1 to get the Alabama quarterback, Simpson. But no, I don't think we're going to see a lot of trades. But this also, that's just a guess, because this also seems like the least info laden draft. I feel like we're a little bit more in the dark than usual this year.
Yeah, it makes it a lot of fun, and we're going to be reacting to every single pick. Fantasy Points is going to be your home for all 3 days here. We're going to be back tomorrow evening. We're also going to be dropping some bonus content on YouTube. If you're watching us on the YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a lot. Doesn't cost you anything. And if you want access to all of my Dynasty content, along with Scott Barrett's Dynasty content, as well as the fellas from Dynasty Points, make sure you are subscribed to Fantasy Points Dynasty YouTube. That's our newest YouTube channel. Absolute fire. We're dropping multiple times a week. And I know a lot of you watching have Dynasty rookie drafts in the back of your mind. Scott, when we are set to draft our Dynasty rookie drafts, for a lot of us like myself, in about a week, who's going to be the first wide receiver that Dynasty managers are going to be interested in selecting, and to what team? Do you have a gut feel on this, Scott?
No, but I kind of think the Giants are going to be taking Jordan Tyson, and I think there's a chance they take him at 5. If not, maybe Carnell Tate goes before that and they get Tyson at 10. But I think that's what we're down to, unless you see a McKay Lemon get a nuts landing spot like the Los Angeles Rams. Maybe another dark horse, Brett's guy, Casey Concepcion, if he goes to Miami where there's just so many targets up for grabs. But I would say easy money bet would be Carnell Tate with Jordan Tyson just a little behind him. But again, with the Giants, the most likely landing spot, he's probably, playing the Robin to Malik Neighbors' Batman, even if that is the case.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. I think that the Giants at 5 might pull the trigger on Jordan Tyson right then and there, because they have the 10th overall pick and a quality player would fall to them there. I think they might get the wide receiver run started early. Brett, what is your gut feeling as to which is the first pick that fantasy managers should pay attention to, besides, of course, the Mendoza and Love one? Specifically, what team pulls the trigger on wideout?
It's got to be Tate, right? Or are you talking City, Theo? Sorry.
Well, no, I mentioned maybe Tyson to 5 to the Giants. You mentioned Tate. You think Tate maybe off the board at 6 to Cleveland?
Tate's my wide receiver. He should be the first receiver taken. I'm kind of still sticking with that. So, but yeah, what if Tate ends up in Kansas City or L.A. even? I think a wide receiver could land in L.A., right? And I think those are probably your 2 best spots for a receiver, or at the top of the draft at least.
Yeah, my guy McKay Lemon's going to be an LA Ram is my feeling there, Brett. We're gonna argue about McKay Lemon and many, many more. John, you mentioned Kenyon Sadiq, and 19 overall for Carolina is what you're betting on. Your thoughts on Sadiq, another sort of skeleton key player for dynasty managers and fantasy managers alike. We've been on this unbelievable run of rookie tight ends producing from the go. Sam Laporta, tight end 1 overall season, followed up by Brock Bowers, tight end 1 overall season, followed up by a number of guys in the 2025 class, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Harold Fannin, hitting in a major way. Sadiq's the one that's going to go tonight. Your fantasy thoughts on him, and is he very landing spot dependent, or do you think that the team that puts this capital has a plan for him?
Yeah, it depends where he goes. Theo, if he goes to Philadelphia, that's a problem. Dallas Goedert's still there, so he's going to be a little bit more of a role player. But, it's pretty rare you come across a guy who moves like this guy does. Big-time athlete, as we know, but also has probably some work to do in pass protection, but pretty good blocker, right? That's per the Fantasy Points Prospect Guide. So I think it's a rare case of, a very, very athletic, perhaps one of the most athletic tight ends to ever suit up. So that's why I'm looking at Dave Canales, and I just think he's a very pragmatic guy. He's really good at putting his players in a position to succeed. He's not a guy who overthinks things like Frank Reich, who I was always very critical of. I've had a lot of conversations, a couple actually, with Rashad White about Canales back when he played for him. And that's kind of my vibe. I was like, he's really good. This is not rocket science. I know we try to overcomplicate it sometimes, but a guy like him, I can just see him look, our quarterback is not very physically gifted, so we got to surround him with athletes. And who better than Kenyon Sadiq here? And what better team than the Carolina Panthers, who haven't had an impactful athletic tight end since freaking Greg Olsen over here?
Yeah, I think that would be a good spot. Brett and I talked about Carolina as a potentially fun landing spot for Kenyon Sadiq. Scott, we had a question in the chat that I thought was interesting. Shout out to Dynasty Dave, who supports a lot of our content. Dynasty Dave says, if Carnell Tate goes to Kansas City with the 9th overall pick or a slight trade up, is there an argument to be made to take him at the 101 over Jeremiah Love?
I mean, maybe.
No, come on, just say no.
I don't think so. I think Jeremiah Love is just so much a better prospect and a sure thing, and it's a premium position, one of importance. And I mean, how much draft capital has been wasted on Kansas City wide receivers over the years? But yeah, I mean, a Patrick Mahomes quarterback with a lot of targets up for grabs, certainly going to be a major riser. I just wouldn't have him on par with Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if Kansas City pulls the trigger on a wide receiver at 9. Ultimately, I feel like Kansas City goes with an offensive lineman there, Brett, one of those 2 offensive tackles. What is your thoughts on what Kansas City, a team that we're really not used to seeing pick inside the top 10, does with this sort of premium draft capital?
They go in a bunch of ways. So, I mean, pass rusher is a huge need for them. George Karlaftis he's a good player, but he's more of a true edge setter as a run defender, not really a guy who's going to pin his ears back and get after the quarterback. Ashton Gillott, their 2nd-round pick last year, also has a very unproven commodity. So I think edge is absolutely on the board, whether that would be a Reuben Bane if he falls or somebody else, a surprise pick. I think that's got to be in play. Mansoor, Delane, the cornerback, would also be in play to replace Trent McDuffie in that defense. They need cornerbacks. That Spagnuolo defense runs on at least one elite cornerback. They need that guy who can shadow and take away opposing teams' wide receiver ones. And then other than that, I mean, they got to be all over wide receiver / pass catcher, and that includes Kenyon Sadiq, but I'd be looking for Carnell Tate. Omar Cooper Jr. would be really fascinating there, Theo. It's a little redundant to what they have in Rashee Rice, though, so I don't think the fit is great right now. But Rashi's only under contract for 1 more season, so maybe that could be a nice, pivot for them into a guy like Omar Cooper Jr. But those are kind of the cluster of positions they need to be looking at.
Yeah, maybe they are looking for a like-for-like replacement with the impending free agency for Rashee Rice and sort of the interesting off-the-field stuff that Rice has been associated with, and also the injuries. Let's also mention that if you want to have a comprehensive guide to follow along with while you're watching the NFL draft, not only today, but tomorrow and certainly on day 3, make sure you check out Brett Whitefield's prospect guide. You can get access to that over at fantasypoints.com. It's absolute fire. I was honored to be able to help Brett with like a small fantasy write-up, but Brett, you absolutely crush it every single year. It's one of the best resources, not only for dynasty managers, but also for just general NFL draft fans and fantasy managers. If you play redraft, you play best ball, whatever, make sure you check out Brett's prospect guide. Guys, we are nearing the 1st overall pick. Scott, we've talked about it a little bit on our School of Scott podcast, but Clint Kubiak, Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza's about to be the highest drafted player ever from Indiana University. Steps into a pretty good situation considering what we've seen with Clint Kubiak the last 2 seasons, not only with Sam Darnold, but that fast start that Derek Carr had in New Orleans. How excited are you for Mendoza to get his career started attached to a really sharp offensive mind?
From a fantasy perspective, I like it. From an NFL perspective, I love it. You could watch interviews with Fernando Mendoza. It's like he was built in a lab to be the perfect Kirk Cousins understudy, Tom Brady clay to be molded, McShanahan system quarterback. And yeah, this is just like a great place to go and develop. I agree with Tom Brady that a rookie quarterback should sit the majority of his rookie year and just learn, and because it's such a steep learning curve. And then Kubiak, I've been a major Kubiak truther, as you have been for a number of years now. You saw what he did with Brock Purdy. The next year, Derek Carr, every single player on that offense was hurt, finished top 5 in adjusted net yards per attempt. It was a miracle. And when everyone was healthy, they were putting up 40 burgers consistently. And then last year, Sam Darnold turns into Peyton Manning. And so, yeah, I think this is a great place for him to grow and develop and learn. From a fantasy perspective, I wish he was starting week 1. I wish this team had a better offensive line, although Kubiak helps with that. I wish there were better pass catchers besides Brock Bowers. And Kubiak, I love him, but not the most pass heavy play caller either. So I would say from a fantasy perspective, I like it. From an NFL perspective, I love it.
Well, the pick is in. Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first overall pick.
Whoa.
It's going to be Fernando Mendoza.
Wow.
Shocking. John Hansen, your thoughts on Fernando Mendoza? Take away the Clint Kubiak, the system and everything we're going to see in Vegas. Just focus in on the prospect. Your thoughts on Fernando Mendoza, the prospect. Is he a player that you think can be a QB1 for fantasy? Do you think he's a player that's going to settle in and maybe be a mid QB2? Like we've heard a lot of thoughts sort of all over the place in evaluations. Brett Whitefield's very high on him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Brett Whitefield. I'm no scout, but sometimes you just see things. And when I watched Fernando Mendoza on the VSiN show at the end of the season, my comp was actually a souped-up Kirk Cousins. So I find it quite ironic that he is now officially a teammate of Kirk Cousins. I look at the size, the physical attributes are obviously there. He may not be, Lamar Jackson, but, and Kirk Cousins, by the way, ran a lot more than obviously he does now. I mean, I believe he had a season with 7 rushing touchdowns. So I could see Fernando Mendoza being a guy who does vulture some short touchdowns, but he also throws a good ball. He's very accurate and good ball placement, and he seems to process it well. And he's a dork, just like Kirk Cousins. So again, we're not going to be worried about him, at the club at 3 a.m. That's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, we're going to be worried about Fernando Mendoza staying up late and building extensive Lego sets. Lego gave him like some huge Harry Potter thing, and there was a picture that dropped with him doing, I don't even know how many pieces, Scott, but Mendoza, we have the pick. And Brett, one question I have for you is, with the shorter time between picks, do you think that the deals have already been done, or do you think that we're going to still see these last minute run to the phone, complete these last shock deals? It seems like the NFL has to be a little bit more organized heading into this one with only 8 minutes between each pick.
Well, for trades in the top 10, for sure, a lot of the framework is probably already done, and teams are just waiting to see who's there at their pick to make sure they're not surprised, right? I do think, though, that after that, I think the 8-minute timeline is going to prevent teams from negotiating with multiple teams at a time. So I think the cost to move up is going to be relatively cheap compared to past years, because you're not going to have time for, trade offer, counter offer, but the back and forth. It's going to be, hey, accept or deal or no deal, and then process the paperwork before the timer runs out. So I do think the cost to move up will be cheaper than normal.
John, we didn't get your thoughts on the second overall pick. We're waiting for the New York Jets here. Your gut feel here, David Bailey, Orville, Reese, or something shocking?
It seemed like everyone was on Reese up until about a week ago, and now it seems like everybody's on Bailey. So I'll hop on that bandwagon. And certainly that's a good place to start when you're almost starting from scratch. I mean, they're not totally starting from scratch. They got, one good tackle. And get an edge rusher. That's a foundational player potentially for 10 years. So you can bring along your quarterback next year. Would like to see him draft a wide receiver, by the way, with their second pick. I would like that. Team him up with Garrett Wilson, and off we go, likely in 2027 with how many, what they got, 4 number 1 picks or 3? I mean, there's a lot. So they're probably going to get the quarterback next year.
3 number 1s next year, and they have 4 of the first 44 picks in this year's draft. So Jets crazy. Have some extensive capital. There's actually a number of teams. It's really odd, Brett. This year we have so many teams, 6, I believe, with 2 first-round selections. So very, very interesting stuff. New York Jets here are on the clock. Scott, we're getting more and more comments about this potential Jeremiah Love trade. One thing we're doing here, big shout out to Trey Camberling for putting together our amazing graphics. We are going to be ranking these picks on a tier list. And Scott, I guess me, you, and John can do this one because it's very fantasy relevant, and then we'll kick it to Brett as well. I think you got to give Fernando Mendoza a pick an S tier because it's a franchise that's been just very hungry for quality quarterback play. Last time they selected a quarterback at number 1 was Jamarcus Russell. I think Fernando Mendoza is going to do better as a pro than he will. And it sort of fast tracks this Clint Kubiak plan. I'm saying S tier. What are you saying?
Again, I think from a fantasy perspective, it's a from an NFL perspective, it's an S.
John
Ooh.
Hansen.
I'm going to go. Look, I've been in this business for a long ass time. I'm looking now at the list of quarterbacks that they've had. Like Derek Carr was pretty good, but he drove us nuts. Carson Palmer, but on the back half of his career, I mean, it's been pretty damn bad. So I'm going to go. We're just grading it A, B. I'm going to go.
Well, S is the top, and then A would be number 2. B would be number 3.
Why is S the top?
Yeah.
What does S stand for?
It's S tier is, I believe it was a
The
Japanese
Scott
thing.
S
Yeah.
tier means goated.
Yeah, it's good. It's the top. S is the best.
Okay,
guys. S is the
gotcha.
best.
S class, gotcha. I think A. I'll just go A. Rock solid. Very hard to. You could do better apparently with this S thing, but A is still pretty good.
Brett Whitefield, how you grading it?
By the way, S comes from martial arts, guys. Japanese martial arts.
Okay.
S means
I said
shoe for
Japanese. I
you
said
did
Japanese.
for
I'm culturally literate.
extraordinary is what it means, guys.
Okay, my bad.
Scott
just-
tier.
Scott here. There we go. I want to be on the record saying that grading draft picks as they're being made is probably not super prudent. You got to wait 3
Deal
years
with
on this
it.
stuff.
Deal
But
with- come
for
on,
the
this
sake
is-
of the
this
show,
This is
This
the
is a
business
lot
we
of
have
fun.
chosen.
Yeah, sorry guys. Tune
So-
in 3 years from now, and we'll tell you about.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll let you know what to do, how you should have
Right.
used
And
your
maybe
rookie
we
draft
should be
picks.
grading the 2018 draft right now, Brett.
No, but maybe 2024.
What do you think about the Joe Burrow pick for the Bengals, Brett?
S tier for sure. Yeah, let's go Mendoza S tier here.
Shout out to Joe Dolan in the
Shoot
chat.
here.
Joe Dolan will be joining us tomorrow evening at the start of round 2. We're going to be bringing in so many awesome guests and a couple of surprise guests as well, all throughout the night and into tomorrow. We're going to be breaking it down, letting you know the best fantasy landing spots as well as the teams that made the best possible selections. Brett, we're nearing this pick. I'm going to see if we have a tip yet. And in the chat, if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop those as well. We'll try to get to some of your questions all throughout the night. All right, guys. Scott, gut feeling for what your Giants are going to do with the 5th overall pick. Let's take a backtrack. What would you like them to do with the 5th overall pick? And what do you think they're going to do with the 5th overall pick?
You got your Clippers ready, Scott? Come on.
I want them to trade down. I'm hearing, and you have to be really careful on draft day. Like 95% is just smokescreen BS. The Ty Simpson going top 10, Carson Beck being a potential round. It's all BS. So, but I do buy into this notion that the Giants are very into Jordan Tyson. I think there's a very good possibility they take him at 5. I don't think I love that, but I don't hate it. If they take a running back, Jeremiah Love, I'm sorry. I don't like that. That's fun for fantasy, maybe, but I have so much Cam Scatterbo, maybe not. What do I want? I want them to trade down. I'm worried they take a running back, and that's kind of trade down from both picks. That feels very Harbaugh to me, very Eric DaCosta, and it's just a team that's, I don't know, years away from playoff contention. So why not do that in a bad class?
Yeah, I sort of am rooting for New York to take a wide receiver with the 5th overall pick because I think those two players, Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, would both match up very, very well with Malik Neighbors, and it would really fast track things for Jackson Dart. And also, if we avoid the Jeremiah Love landing spot there, then that sort of keeps things interesting for your guy Cam Scatterbo. I know there's some dynasty managers really holding their breath right now, still holding bags with Cam Scatterbo. Still waiting for this New York Jets pick. We'll just fast forward to the middle.
Let me steer this conversation.
Sure.
Brett has a hot take on Fernando Mendoza that we need to put out into the ether. Maybe people don't know about this, but there's this narrative that Mendoza's just the best quarterback and the Raiders needed a quarterback. According to Brett, Fernando Mendoza's up there with Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence as the best quarterback prospect of the last decade. And I watched film with Brett, and I came in extremely skeptical, but was really impressed and blown away by Mendoza's accuracy and decision-making. So Brett, I don't know if you wanted to, double down on that or really just, get up on the table here and cape up for your guy.
I want to point out we've done 2 live streams this week, and you've said skeptical on both of them, so that's
Me?
pretty awesome. we have It's officially going into my vernacular now. Skeptical is a word. So
What did I mean to say? I don't even know what I meant to say.
skeptical.
Skeptical. I said
skeptical.
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I would strongly recommend people head over to the YouTube that you're watching the show on right now and check out the film versus analytics on him. I think we went.
Don't be skeptical about it.
Yeah,
just go there.
Yes, exactly. But no, Mendoza, man, he has all the things that you want in a quarterback. I know, Scott, you were meandering earlier about how he's like a clone, a Brady clone in the film room, and yeah, I was skeptical of it anyways. But yeah, you were talking about
Vicious.
Mendoza in the film room and the tape study and the how smart he is as a football player. I think that's like. That's the biggest thing that we can't measure as analysts or guys who study the draft. Like, I have no idea what Fernando Mendoza's like between the years, but among all quarterbacks like the last decade, we've got a pretty good look at it. He's been pretty public. Some of the interviews he's on are exceptional. Everybody that's in the football world speaks so highly of his brain power, and that to me, that shows up in the tape. You see, I wrote processing power of an AMD Ryzen. It's supposed to say 7,000, the newest model there, but not sure what happened on the edit. Anyways, the processing power is incredible. The ability to get through progressions, his reads, understanding coverages and disguises. Scott, we saw this where halfway through the season in the tape, they were trying to disguise coverages to trick Mendoza, and the speed in which he read that out, got through that, identified that coverage, got through the progression, and made the right throw was unbelievable. We juxtaposed that to Ty Simpson and Garrett Nussmeier, not the same thing, and that's where those guys got in trouble, where defenses started to confuse them and throw different coverages at them. They completely fell apart, folded like a cheap suit. Mendoza went the other direction. He got better as defenses threw more complicated things at him. So
yeah. Shout out to Dynasty Dave, who says Mendoza even looks like Kirk Cousins. That was John's comp. And the first time I heard him speak and saw like really, his face and mannerisms was at the Natty. And I was like, hey, do we need to check and make sure that Mendoza's mom wasn't at the same church summer camp as Kirk Cousins 18 years ago, 21 years ago? And yeah, now he's going to be the Kirk Cousins understudy. They seem like clones of each other. They even look alike. They talk alike. But he's also going to be the perfect clay for Tom Brady to mold, where like the most cerebral quarterback of all time. Right. And like you said, yeah, you watch the film, and this is something I think the layman can't appreciate. I think even like the draft analysts and film bros who are just not on your level, Brett, I don't think they can appreciate it either. Certainly I couldn't appreciate it until I watched it with you, where it's like, okay, they're showing cover 3. Look how quickly he diagnoses, oh, this is actually, he needs to hit the too high beater here. And like how quickly he gets into that and then delivers a throw perfectly on the money to the numbers. And that is just a rare trait. And I think that's something really you can build around, and something for Clint Kubiak, this McShanahan system, to get him really excited and has me bullish on Mendoza, the prospect.
And Kirky played with Kubiak in Minnesota, so they know each other. You know what I'd like to see, because the one knock maybe on him is that he had a little bit of an embarrassment of riches there at Indiana in Elijah Surratt. My guy Charlie Becker. I mean, I love Charlie Becker. I only had to watch Charlie Becker for like 6 quarters. I'm like, I love this guy. How about this, though? That could be a little bit of a problem. I mean, certainly going to get the ball to Brock Bowers. I would like to see them get Elijah Surratt, Brett, at 36 right now. Let's just do it.
Oh, yeah.
36?
I think you can get him a little later than that.
Yeah.
No, just do it. Just do it. Just take your guy.
Well, the next one's 67. I don't think he's going to make it to 67.
Listen, I'm skeptical of Omar Cooper, and I'm skeptical of Elijah Surratt. And one thing that showed up in their stats is like their catchable target rate was like 92%, whereas the average for all round 1, 2 wide receivers was like 40%. And I think that's just a credit to Mendoza. I do think he benefited from an offensive line and good play calling and whatnot, but I'm a little more skeptical of these wide receivers than I think you are, Brett.
To be fair to Surratt, he dominated before he was with Mendoza, though.
I wouldn't say dominated personally.
Scotty had 45 touchdowns in his college career.
I mean, Scotty,
what are we talking about?
We'll talk about Elijah Surratt at length tomorrow during day 2. We're going to cover. We expect a lot of fantasy relevant players to be selected and going off the board on day 2. It's a very deep
Dominating
tight
at
end.
James Madison is like you need 75.
The Raiders
touchdowns.
also should get Pat Coogan. I don't care what I'm no O-line guru. Pat Coogan is going to be good in the NFL. That's all I'm saying.
He's
There's
their only
been a,
O-lineman that was good, by the way.
Yeah.
There's been
That guy-
a nice. Sorry,
Go
John.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was
Go
going
ahead.
to say there's been a nice streak here from fantasy football production from Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks that were drafted first overall. Caleb Williams last year, really, really strong season. Took Chicago to the playoffs. It finished as a strong high-end QB1 in fantasy. Joe Burrow before that. Bryce Young in the middle. We would call that sort of a bust when he's been taken at 1. But Kyler Murray before Joe Burrow, number of QB1 seasons. Baker Mayfield, of course, had the top 5 season a few years back in Tampa Bay. And then Jameis Winston, who had some fun moments in fantasy, not necessarily in real-life football, but it's a nice track record for hitting in fantasy football. And when you're drafted with the first overall pick, you've got that insulation that if it doesn't work out in Vegas, someone's going to give you another chance. Brett, pick is in.
Pick is in. David Bailey, edge rusher, Texas Tech. Sorry, I didn't know you wanted to call it.
Yeah, so
Is
no,
that a
David
surprise for you?
No, that's what I predicted.
Okay.
I had this
And
in
like
my
you
mock
said,
draft
you're-
as well. Brett, I'm going to give Brett a big shout out here because Brett, David Bailey before the Senior Bowl, like was mocked in the first round by everybody, had 14 and a half sacks this year at Texas Tech, transferred from Stanford to Texas Tech and was an absolute wrecking ball for a very good Texas Tech defense. But he was being projected to go somewhere in like that 15 to 25 range by so many people for so long. I remember doing one of our initial mock drafts together on a pod, and you had David Bailey going top 5. And I was like, oh, it's maybe a little higher than other people have him. And then you're like, no, that's where he's going to end up going. And then, of course, it's just been an upward ascension. How good is he, Brett? Are we talking Aiden Hutchinson level edge rusher? Like, how good is he going to be in the NFL? True difference maker as a rookie, double-digit sacks as a rookie. I mean, what's your expectations here?
Firstly, when we started our draft pod, Theo, the first episode we did a mock draft. It was like December, right
Yeah, it
after
was
the
awesome.
college football season ended. I had Bailey going 3rd overall in that mock draft, and you kind of looked at me side-eye, but then you're like,
did.
yeah, I guess I could see it. So, but yeah, Bailey, he's not Hutchinson level. He's not, and that's kind of the problem with this draft. That there's not blue chip guys at premium positions, right? All the blue chippers, other than Mendoza, are safety, linebacker, running back, guard. You know, those are the blue chip prospects. But he is very good. Analytically speaking, we haven't seen a pass rusher like this in a long time. Like his pass rush win rate, his pressure rate, the sack rate, it's all just absolutely insane. But when you turn on the tape, you see a guy he has a ton of tools. He's super explosive, a developed pass rush moveset. You know, he's got a cross chop, he's got a club, he's got inside counters to work off of. Doesn't have a big power element to his game though, and he's a little stiff, so he's not a bendy guy. So he really has to soften that corner to kind of turn and flatten to the quarterback. I think that's the one thing holding him back from being like a true blue chipper. But analytically speaking, he absolutely is a blue chipper. So it's a good pick for Aaron Glenn, who I'm surprised. I didn't think this was the kind of fit for AG, where AG likes those more big, powerful edge setting type guys. Bailey's not that. He's explosive and twitchy, and he's got moves, and he's a speed rusher. But they needed this injection on their defense. They needed sack production. They need pressures. And Bailey's going to give them a ton of that. So.
Yeah, and what does this say, Brett, and then John, sort of about Aaron Glenn's voice with this organization? Had a really poor first year, but this feels like an Aaron Glenn pick, doesn't it, Brett? I mean, if you were going to go total upside, you'd consider maybe trading down and getting even more draft capital. You'd consider the Orville Reese, who's a little bit younger, maybe a little bit more peak athleticism type outcome guy. Like, what does this say about Aaron Glenn, the voice in the organization?
Yeah, I mean, they're giving him a chip to work with for sure on, the 2nd overall pick. It kind of seems like, whether it was his idea or not, their hands are a little tied. There wasn't really another guy for them here, right? I mean, you could take a Sonny Styles, but the NFL is going to laugh at you because it's a linebacker. You could take a Caleb Downs, but we don't take safety 2nd overall. So they really didn't have another option, Theo. I would love to sit here and say, this is a huge endorsement of Aaron Glenn, but I can't. I don't know that they really had another choice, quite frankly.
And John, your thoughts on the Aaron Glenn question?
Yeah, they're the Jets. They're been rebuilding since 1969 in many ways. So to get a top tier edge rusher, regardless of the coach, I mean it's going to be a good pick that's going to be potentially solidifying an area for 10 years. So yeah, like to Brett's point, like they it's a slam dunk. So I don't think it says really anything about Aaron Glenn, quite frankly.
Yeah, shout out to Naughty in the chat. We are anticipating the Arizona selection or a possible trade. Naughty in the chat says, and Naughty supports a lot of our content. Am I the only one that wants Arizona to draft Jeremiah Love? I want Arizona to draft Jeremiah Love right now as well, Naughty. I think having a running back go off the board at 3 overall would be awesome. And
he's going 3.
Volumes.
He's going to the Commanders. I told you already.
Scott Barrett with the inside sources. He's got 6 cell phones open. You can't see it, but Scott, right across his desk.
That was my pick in my mock draft 2 weeks ago. I hope you're right.
Yeah, I have Jeremiah Love going to Arizona in my mock draft. Brett, your gut feel here for 3. Does Arizona make the pick, or is this pick going to get traded?
Oh, I think I'm going to say they make the pick, and it's Orville Reese.
Okay. It could be Orville Reese. And Brett, what do you say about that one? Because I think it's one of the stupidest takes that I've heard is that the Arizona has failed with guys that were tweeners in previous seasons. Therefore, they should avoid another sort of tweener guy in this one. Like, what does Isaiah Simmons have to do with Orville Reese? We're talking about different coaching staffs. We're talking about many years back at this point. Like, I feel like that's a crutch that I just can't get behind.
Well, I would say that, yeah, past mistakes can't shape the future, but you do have to learn from them. The flip side of that is, like, it's a hard projection, man. I don't think Orville Reese should be the 3rd overall pick. It is a hard projection. He is a completely undefined player right now.
The pick is in, guys. The pick is in. The Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love with the 3rd overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Scott Barrett, we're going to kick it to you on this one, but I feel like this is an organization that's sort of been haunted by San Francisco 49ers in the same division. A running back like Christian McCaffrey, how he can affect the game as both a runner and a receiver, the truly elite usage, a guy who can really move the sticks, and sticking to your board and picking the best available player. What do you say about this pick, Scott?
I think this is a really stupid decision from the Arizona front office. From a fantasy perspective, yeah, you have to wonder, do you think this is bad news for James Conner? And Trey Benson and Tyler Algier?
James Conner has to make a pick for Arizona tomorrow too. He's the player that's going to go up to the podium and make.
It might not even be great for Trey McBride, for God's sakes, because Love could be like a weapon,
Well, John, let me push back on you on that one, because like the whole idea with Trey McBride is set the record for the most receptions at the tight end position. Now you've got this dynamic running back who Jeremiah Love could catch 80 passes at some point early in his career. Like the usage could go down. Scott, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, well, this was one of the most pass-heavy offenses ever. You look at what Arizona did, like Trey McBride ran extremely pure, Michael Wilson too, and Jacoby Brissett, where they were the garbage time kings. If you look at from when Jacoby Brissett took over till the end of the season, just looking at the second half of games, Jacoby Brissett had like 90 completions more than any other quarterback. Trey McBride had like 40 completions more than any other receiver. And so, yeah, I think you have this new head coach coming in and, clearly wants to run the ball a whole lot more when you bring back James Conner, you sign Tyler Algier, you still have Trey Benson there. And now you're drafting a rookie running back, top 3. You're making him one of the highest paid running backs in the league at a devalued position where the analytics tell you, maybe you take an elite, super elite running back 32nd overall. And so, yeah, from a fantasy perspective, I think he has to be viewed as a bell cow just because of who he is and the draft capital that was used to take him. If you look back over the last since Trent Richardson or even beforehand, every running back drafted top 10 has been amazing for fantasy and amazing even as a rookie. Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Trent Richardson, Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey. The list goes on. And so I have to think he's going to be a bell cow. I have to think he's going to be successful, but it's still an awful offense. I mean, a not great offense, one with game script concerns as well. And you have a really good depth chart. Like James Conner is, I don't know, the best RB2 in the league, or one of the best RB2s in the league. When he's healthy,
he's so old at this point.
He's underrated every single year of his career, and he's just rock solid and awesome.
Then Jacoby Brissett, 33-year-old.
Tyler Algier, if he wasn't stuck behind Bijan Robinson.
What if Jacoby Brissett gets hurt, and now we're stuck with freaking Gardner Minshew again, though? That would suck.
Even if Jacoby Brissett doesn't get hurt, how much confidence do you have in Jacoby Brissett?
Exactly. No, not much.
For 6 games with a different play caller. And so, yeah, I don't know. I have some questions. And, you know, certainly from an NFL perspective, this is a big mistake. I think you have a lame duck head coach who might be gone next year with Arch Manning coming to town.
This is what we get this every single year that one of these teams pulls the trigger on one of these running backs. Brett, I feel like I'm listening to the criticisms of Brad Holmes in 2023 when the Lions picked Jahmyr Gibbs. I realized that was 12, and this is 3. It's a little bit different, but I remember Brad Holmes getting crushed the next day because he took a running back and he took a linebacker.
I threw a temper tantrum live on air that year.
Oh, well, I think that when we're looking at Scott, what was the thing that pushed the Philadelphia Eagles offense over? And I realize Cardinals aren't there. But running backs are in play right now.
What pushed the Philadelphia Eagles offense? So it was an elite offensive line with the
best offensive line in a decade.
Yeah,
guys, real quick, we do know who the offense coordinator is here. Running back killer, Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, interesting.
Jeremiah Love I think Jeremiah Love's going to be too big to fail, guys. They just took him 3 overall. Shout out to the dynasty managers who were thinking that Tyler Algier was finally going to pay off for them. I know, Scott, we talked about it this year on School of Scott, how Tyler Algier is going to end up signing for someone, maybe having an opportunity to play. He's basically in the same situation he was in. It's going to be like a trivia question, John, in like 20 years. Who was the handcuff running back to both Bijan Robinson and Jeremiah Love, 2 guys who were both 101s in redraft? And it's going to be Tyler Algier, guy runs for 1,000 yards as a rookie, and then is stuck as a handcuff running back. Be interesting to see what they do with James Conner. But Jeremiah Love, I'm going to make a statement now, Scott, and we'll talk about it on School of Scott at some point. I think Jeremiah Love, when we get to this time next year, he's going to be in consideration to be the number 1 pick in redraft in 2027. I think he's going to come right out the gate. He's got everything people are looking for. He's got explosiveness. He's got pass catching upside. The usage is going to be strong. They just took him at 3 overall. Brett, anybody scoring at home, Theo Greminger's mock draft is 3 for 3 right now. David Bailey at 2, Jeremiah Love, they both hit. Brett, what are we doing with 4 here? Because Tennessee's on the clock here. This was one of the landing spots.
We have to grade this landing spot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll come back. Let's grade Bailey and let's grade Love after we hear Brett's thoughts on what this next pick's going to look like.
Are we grading non-fantasy players?
Yes.
Well, yeah, why not? You don't have to participate.
That's
in the
why
grading,
I'm here, Scott.
I'm not participating.
Scott Barrett is going to be, when the offensive linemen are selected, Scott Barrett has his special grading that he's going to break out tonight, and only tonight, on hand placement technique. It's going to be it's going to be
revolutionary.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh, pick is in for the Titans.
Okay, so
Carnell
let's
Tate, baby, let's go.
Oh, wow. Carnell Tate. Okay, so this was rumored. This was rumored. Where, of course, I didn't have this in my mock, but I think this makes total sense.
All right,
because
Giants taking Tyson right after that.
This pick is telling me that Carnell Tate. This pick is telling me that Tennessee wanted Jeremiah Love. He's off the board, and Carnell Tate was the guy for them. They don't want Sonny Styles, and they don't want Orville Reese at this point, and they take Carnell Tate. And John Hansen, the last time we saw a wide receiver 1 in Tennessee was A.J. Brown. They have Brian Dable as their offensive coordinator. They signed Wan'Dale Robinson as sort of a chain mover. This is an unbelievable landing spot, I think, for Carnell Tate in terms of usage right out the gate. Your thoughts, John?
Yeah. By the way, shout out. I was a big Kenny Britt guy, not Kenny Pickett. I like him too.
Oh, me too.
I was a huge Kenny Britt guy, man, and he was balling for Tennessee. It's funny, Theo. In the latest Fantasy Points podcast that came out this week, I did a preemptive stock watch in which I predicted which players are going to see values, and Cam Ward was on the list. And I did say in the podcast that Tate just felt like a Titan. So it's like you need a 1, and there you go. Now we got a 1, and now Calvin Ridley is cast into a realistic role for him over 30 years old. You got a little Wandale underneath. They did lose Chiggy, but maybe they'll get a tight end or otherwise Gunnar Helm. I mean, Cam Ward proved that he was pretty good last year, and now he's got weapons.
Yeah, and I think Giants right now, Scott, they might just jump into it and take that wide receiver. Sonny Styles also going to be in consideration. Giants pick's going to be interesting. Let's quickly have Brett grade the Bailey pick on the tier list. Brett, where are you going to rank this for New York?
Bailey
A tier
gets
for
A.
Bailey. And then I'm going to go ahead. Trey Camberling, I don't even want to let Scott bring it down with his NFL analysis. Let's just go fantasy football, Scott. S tier. Jeremiah Love has to be in the S tier.
No.
He's
the guy
closer.
In this
He's
draft.
C tier. He's C
No,
tier.
no, no.
honestly.
I agree,
Trey, let's
C
go.
tier.
This is the one. Come on, guys.
You agree, Brett? So the
Yeah.
draft capital is elite. The landing spot is a C.
Guys,
You don't
guys,
take a
if
running
you-
back in the top 5. It's stupid. I don't care what
Well,
anyone says about fantasy football.
So from a fantasy perspective, I think it's a C. A
We
B or
are-
a C? A B or a C?
If we put Jeremiah Love in the C tier, people are all going to stop watching this stream. This is
That's not
the
true.
best player in the draft. Arizona got the best offensive player in the draft. Let's split the difference here, guys. Let's put this in the A tier. I say S
for
tier.
No.
For fantasy, I'll call it A. Fine, but for NFL,
Okay,
I-
we'll call it.
highest
Let's
I
go.
could
Hey,
go is B.
we're going the A tier. We're going the A tier, Trey.
I already
Put
put
it-
him in the
put it
B
in.
tier. I
Lock him in.
finalized it.
Okay,
Go
now
B.
Carnell Tate. Scott, I and you've talked about this, Scott. Carnell Tate is a big physical outside wide receiver, but he's not 6'4", and he's also very, very
I say
athletic,
he's
very
manlit
agile.
Mike Williams as his downside comp.
Okay, but that goes out the window. He's
Mike
the 4th
Williams.
overall pick. Like the Mike Williams, Carnell Tate. Brett and I talked about
downside comp.
You can squint and see some AJ Green in that tape, and people in the
Yeah.
chat saying Carnell Tate's a wide receiver
George
too.
Pickens, AJ Green is the upside
no,
comp.
it's
yeah.
more like Reggie Wayne,
Okay, more
Ooh,
like Reggie
that's a
Wayne,
good
more
one.
like hey guys,
skinny
I'll
Jimmy Smith.
I'll throw it out there,
I
Brett.
love Jimmy
I'll-
Smith.
I'll throw it out there. Why can't you use him like Devontae Adams on this team out the gate?
Because Devontae Adams is like the best route runner of the past decade.
And
Yeah, and
Carnell
Tate's the
an
best
excellent
route runner of this
runner.
draft.
No, he's not.
And Tate
No,
is
Yes,
an
he
excellent.
is.
Scott, the arguments,
Scott's-
the anti-Tate arguments have to take a big hit here because he's the 4th overall pick. Hit
Scott,
him
I'm
in the top
completely-
five.
hold on.
No,
Hold on, I'm completely vindicated here. I've been telling Scott that Carnell Tate's a top 10
timeout, guys.
receiver
The
in the
pick is
past
in.
decade.
The pick is in.
Okay.
With the 5th overall pick, the New York Giants select Orville Reese of Ohio State. Does this mean okay? So does
That's
this
so
mean
funny.
Why is that
Kayvon
funny?
Thibodeau might be traded?
why is that
Kayvon
funny,
Thib-
Brett?
Because they already have three edge rushers.
Yeah.
They have a
Thibodeau's-
$30 million
Thibodeau's
guy in
gone.
Brian Burns. Is Orville
Yeah,
Reese going
so-
to play off-ball linebacker for you, and you just drafted him over Sonny Styles?
Well, I think this is just a result of taking
Aren't
the,
you the
the
only one
best
who has
player
Sonny
available on
Styles?
their board. John Hansen, you mentioned something just now. Okay, so Kayvon Thibodeau becomes a movable asset at this point with this pick.
I mean, he's been a little bit of a pain in the ass. Let's be honest here. I mean, I don't think they're happy with the Thibodeau pick. It's been what, 4 years, 3 years. So Abdul Carter, Brian Burns. Yeah, I mean, they got pass rush down. I don't know if they'll cover anybody on the back end, but they got the pass rush down.
Guys, if
This
you're
is
enjoying
hilarious.
this, if you're enjoying watching this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We're dropping multiple videos each and every week on this channel that are going to help you get better at fantasy football and help you know the NFL better. Make sure you're subscribed to Fantasy Points YouTube, and make sure if you're a Dynasty manager and you want to crush your Dynasty rookie drafts, make sure you're subscribed to Fantasy Points Dynasty YouTube. We're going to put that link right up here on the screen shortly.
Ooh.
Go ahead,
The
Brett.
Chiefs have traded up to pick 6.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean,
Here we go.
Of course,
And
we have no idea for what. For
I'm
whom.
going to say Jordan Tyson.
Yeah,
I think
wow.
Jordan Tyson probably
That's
makes
what
the most
I would
sense
guess.
too.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So the Browns were rumored to trade back. Browns have been linked to adding an offensive lineman, Brett. So Carnell Tate goes off the board. That was the wide receiver that I thought that Cleveland would select at 6 overall. He's off the board. So they trade back with the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs were at the 9th overall pick. And let's remember, Kansas City also has the 29th overall pick and the 40th overall pick. Not sure if 40 what do we have any if anybody in the chat knows any of the compensation it leaks, try to let us know. We'll keep an eye on that. But they move up here to 6. Cleveland at 9 is probably locked and loaded on Maui Noah or Fano, one of the offensive tackles. Kansas City here, Brett, I mean, this could be a number of guys. This could be Jordan Tyson, or this could be maybe
It's Jordan Tyson.
It's got to be Jordan Tyson, right?
Probably is. Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, you're
Especially
talking about
they're getting
needle
in front
movers.
they're getting in front of the Commanders and the
Getting in
Saints
front of
for
the
a
Commanders.
reason.
So the
Yeah.
Commanders are going to take Sonny Styles at 7. They've been linked to Sonny Styles. That's my prediction here is Commanders will take Sonny Styles at 7.
Frank
Kansas
is correct.
City- Yeah.
The comment from Frank, Styles is the steal of the draft. He's 100% correct at this point. Yes.
Sell me on that.
I mean,
Best off-ball linebacker in a long, long time. Long
So
time.
why isn't the NFL so high on him? Why are you the only
The NFL
one?
is so high on him. He's about to
NFL
go
is so
7th
high.
overall, and he's an off-ball linebacker. What are you talking about?
so Scott, I'll say Brett, and I'll throw a name out there. Brian Urlacher, Part 2. You down with
Wow.
that? You down with that?
It's a great comp. Former safety convert. I mean, he's bigger than Urlacher even, but
Yeah, but you have the former safety convert. I mean, Sonny Styles checks off so many boxes. He's an unbelievable player. Brett, where did he fall on your big board ranking? And again, you can check that
Number
out
2.
over at Fantasy Point. 2 overall.
yeah. Mendoza 1, Sonny Styles 2.
So he's better than Jeremiah Love throwing out positional importance.
Yes.
The 6th overall pick is in, and we were all wrong. Mansoor, Delane, cornerback, LSU. And the compensation
Did not see that coming.
was 9th overall pick, 74th overall pick, and 148th overall pick. Brett, just without doing
That's
the
a good
calculator math, that seems about right. We've heard that there's some rumors that because this class is so open that maybe teams wouldn't follow our traditional draft calculator, but that seems about right.
Well, I think that's a little cheap.
It's a little light. It's a little light.
Yeah, moving inside the top 10 is really tough. I think it's a combination of the class, but plus the time constraints. You don't have time to hammer out a ton of details, right? So I'm guessing that framework was done, prior to the draft starting. But
so break down this selection. This is a player that we've sort of associated with Kansas City. I believe me and you mocked him there a couple weeks ago.
Forever.
Yeah, we've been walking. We mocked him, and then I think our most recent mock draft. Shout out to Cody Carpentier, Roster Watch. He joined us. I don't think he went there the most recent one, but I think we've had him mocked there a couple of times. They trade up to get him. Do you think that the steam to move up to 6 to get your guy here is reflective that teams are out on McCoy right now because of the injury concerns?
Yeah.
Tennessee quarterback Jermod McCoy. Your thoughts, Brett?
Yeah, I think McCoy probably falls out of the first round. We saw Will Johnson fall out last year with a similar knee thing. Mansoor Delane, though, it's funny because my working comp for him is Trent McDuffie. They trade McDuffie to the Rams. They get younger Trent McDuffie here with Mansoor Delane. Really like the fit, and they didn't have to pay a lot to go make sure they got their guy. It's worth noting, too, the Commanders were heavily linked to Mansoor Delane as well. It was kind of, if the Commanders didn't get the running back or wide receiver they wanted, that they were going to, take Mansoor Delane. So I think the Chiefs made a prudent move there to get up in front of them.
Mm-hmm. John, your thoughts on this one? We all thought this could be a wide receiver. I thought maybe an offensive lineman. Instead, they draft a cornerback. So you trade McDuffie, and now you select Mansoor Delane. Your thoughts?
Well, to echo what is a pretty obvious point, they lost like all their corners basically. They've got Christian Fulton right now slated to start. That's certainly not good. But it is interesting that here we are, and I said before the pick was in, I'm like, okay, they moved up. I have no idea who they're taking because they could have gone 4 different ways, and we really wouldn't have batted an eye last year. They could have gone O-line, they could have gone edge rusher, they could have gone corner as they did, they could have gone wide receiver. So, here they are, the Kansas City Chiefs with a ton of needs. By the way, I do like them to get a tight end in day 2 tomorrow, so we'll stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we are rooting for Eli Stowers at pick number 40. I think that would be like the ultimate landing spot for a tight end that I know Scott Barrett's extremely high on, as well as Brett and I. John, any other thoughts on just the way this top 6 has rolled out?
No, I mean, so far it's a little bit of a mixed bag here. I mean, I would give the Jeremiah Love pick kind of like look, he's arguably the best player in the draft. So I can't argue. It's just like Kyler Murray. Like, can I argue that Kyler Murray is a Viking? No, I get it. I understand it. Is it going to go well? No, it's not. I don't think Jeremiah Love in 3-4 years. I just don't have a good vibe on it, so I didn't love that. But I think that's offset a little bit by the Carnell Tate selection. That's just I like the needs picks because it's just too logical. You used the number 1 overall pick last year on Cam Ward. He showed pretty damn well with pretty much lame receivers. So let's get him a 1. They went out there and they did that. So they also got him a 3 in Wandale. So now here we go.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very interesting rollout. Now, Brett, we've got the 7th overall pick, the Washington Commanders. I think we're both locked in on them taking Sonny Styles. Do you think there's a chance that this could be Caleb Downs, this could be Jordan Tyson?
For sure.
Or is this just such a Dan Quinn pick to take Sonny Styles?
I mean, it would be a very Dan Quinn pick for sure. I don't know. After being wrong on the Chiefs, because I thought that was going to be Tyson, I think it's probably Styles, but at this point, I don't know. So
yeah, I'm going to say it's Styles. I think Styles. We've heard all week that if he falls out of the top 5, he'd be a player that the Washington Commanders would be very, very into. We're updating, and big shout out to Trey Camberling for doing all these amazing graphics. It just looks so clean here. We're going to be joined shortly by Ryan Heath breaking down the Carnell Tate landing spot, breaking down the Jeremiah Love landing spot, and we're going to be joined by several other guests throughout the night. Right now, we're still waiting on confirmation on who Washington selects. Brett, is there also a chance Washington could potentially trade out of this one? They're a team that lacks total number of picks.
For sure, they don't have a 2nd-round pick, right? So, I could see them trying to get more picks. I just don't know who a team would come up for at this point. Maybe the Cowboys would come up for Styles. I don't know.
Ooh,
yeah, I think the idea of Washington and Dallas trading with one another sort of makes me a little sick to my stomach.
Oh, true.
So I think it's going to be Styles. We're waiting on that one. If you have any questions, make sure you're dropping those in the chat. And if you have any questions for Ryan Heath, Scott Barrett, any of us, put them in there. Just a reminder that Fantasy Points is going to be dropping shows reacting to the NFL Draft all week. Make sure you subscribe to Fantasy Football Daily, Dynasty Life, 2026 NFL Draft Podcast, School of Scott, and Ryan Heath's show, Dynasty Points. Ryan, let's react to the Carnell Tate landing spot before we talk Jeremiah Love. Your thoughts on Carnell Tate? I mean, this seems like a real opportunity for him to do some big things, gets great draft capital, and a landing spot where he's the instant wide receiver 1.
It is, yeah. I'd call it like a pretty neutral landing spot. Going 4th overall is higher than I expected. That's undoubtedly a great outcome for him, a great vote of confidence. But yeah, it's a spot where he can immediately have a chance to be the wide receiver 1. Your mileage may vary depending on what you think of Cam Ward's ability to support fantasy production there. So that's why I'd call it probably closer to like a neutral landing spot. But yeah, I think basically whatever you thought of Tate pre-draft, this spot shouldn't totally change your opinion. He does kind of escape the idea of, well, maybe he'll just be a wide receiver 2, sacrificial X, not great for fantasy type of player. I think in this spot, like the volume is there for him to earn. So yeah, it's pretty strong. He is very likely going to be my 103 in rookie draft. So yeah, not a lot to complain about.
Yeah, I think for me, I might throw him at the 102, and we're going to shake things out. Look for Scott, Ryan, and I, and several others to be dropping a Dynasty rookie draft very shortly right after the NFL draft, and look for that on Fantasy Points Dynasty YouTube. How annoyed are you, Brett, when you hear Ryan use the word sacrificial X for a true alpha like Carnell Tate? We're going to get back to that one because we have the pick. Washington Commanders select Sonny Styles. Absolutely perfect fit for what they want to do defensively. Sonny Styles, he can do it all, Brett. Certainly, you're in great shape against Jackson Dart and Jalen Hurts in this division. Any kind of mobile quarterback Sonny Styles can neutralize, and also you have the ability to shut down tight ends as well. He can do it all.
He can cover receivers in the slot. I mean, he's that gifted laterally. He's an absolute freak athlete. When you write up his profile, you have to like invent things he's bad at just to fill out the weakness section. Like he's that kind of player. So it's a great pick.
And let's go back to you real quick before we talk Styles. Let's talk Ryan. Your thoughts on the Jeremiah Love landing spot? It goes 3 overall, ends up in Arizona. How do you think his 2026 season outlook should be, without even getting into should they have taken running back? How exciting is it to see a player of his level ending up with this sort of draft capital?
Yeah, just for fantasy, it's incredibly exciting to me. I think this is pretty much the second best realistic spot he could have gone to. Maybe you would prefer the Commanders just in terms of being tied to Jaden Daniels. But yeah, this is really awesome. Like the highest investment running back that the Cardinals have right now is Tyler Algier. Has no history on passing downs. That's like what's most important for fantasy. The passing down back last year was Trey Benson, who could get cut, may not make the team. James Conner, we don't know if he's healthy. He could get cut post June 1st. If he isn't, like very clearly someone is the odd man out in this backfield. And yeah, it's great for Jeremiah Love. Third overall, I'm not worried about like Tyler Algier stealing 10 touchdowns or whatever. Like there's no like nits to pick here whatsoever. Like he's going to catch a ton of passes. They're clearly are trying to commit to their run game here after being absurdly pass heavy. Will it work with their defense? Probably not, but that's still a bunch of PPR scam points for Jeremiah Love. So yeah, it's really hard to complain about. I think he's immediately my dynasty RB3 over Ashton Genty at this point. Yeah, and he would not have been if he'd gone to like the Titans or the Giants, for example.
Yeah,
I disagree personally.
Well, we'll get to you, Scott, in a second. But before Scott, you share your thoughts. A little more questions for Ryan. But I will say, Scott, you've got to be a smile, like a little smile on your face, because Cam Scatterbo survived the evening. Cam Scatterbo avoids Jeremiah Love, and also Tony Pollard. If you're a best ball manager, Tony Pollard was like RB 36 in some of these underdog pre NFL draft like contests. Like that's Tony Pollard's going to move up. Ryan, let's get back to the Arizona Cardinals, because very quick question. You haven't had a chance to really break this one down, but my initial thought is the Trey McBride insane usage takes a slight hit with this one when you introduce a running back with this sort of pass catching ability.
I don't know that it does in terms of target competition. I think it does in terms of they clearly want to commit to the run, right? So much of the Trey McBride usage in fantasy points was just garbage time last year. He led the league in like every single garbage time stat if you just control for fourth quarter trailing by multiple scores or what have you. So that was probably going to regress to some level anyway. But yeah, if there's a clear directive to run the ball and control the clock and all that to whatever extent they can, the play volume comes down. It's not going to be 50 Jacoby Brissett dropbacks every single week. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know that it's making me move McBride down like further than where I had him. I just was kind of already expecting some regression.
Jordan Tyson to the Saints, by the way.
Jordan Tyson goes 8th overall to the New Orleans Saints. Scott Barrett, let's get your reaction to that one. This is a really nice pairing in New Orleans here. Sort of complements a lot of what Chris Olave can do with Tyson, and really a team with a glaring hole in terms of a secondary target to Olave. Tyler Shuck is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, it's not bad. I've always loved Kellen Moore wide receivers, typically the slot, the alpha wide receiver one. You had Chris Olave really command a gigantic target share, but down the stretch we saw, who was it? Devon Veely.
Devon Veely had a little bit of a run. Yeah.
And
Mason Tipton and Devon Veely are officially dusted with this selection, and the Juwan Johnson enthusiasts also take a big hit there. They added Travis Etienne as a free agent as well. I think this, when you look at Ryan, we've broken this down before when we podcasted together. Make sure you're following all of Ryan's work over at fantasypoints.com. Ryan, we've talked about Kellen Moore, the play caller, how he runs a ton of plays, and even when they're bad, they produce for fantasy because of the play volume, the tempo that they have, and really how it's a consolidated targets usually among maybe one or two guys. Last year, Olave, 150 plus targets. Now you introduce Jordan Tyson into the equation.
Yeah, this is bullish to me. One of the better spots that Tyson could have gone to. Would have preferred the Chiefs for sure. But yeah, just the ratcheting up the play volume is great. I can guarantee the talking point is going to be, well, he's the wide receiver 2 behind Chris Olave. That's like what people get obsessed with, but I am okay with that. There are only a handful of NFL offenses that you want the wide receivers on that are going to be throwing a ton. This kind of signals that the Saints are going to be one of them. We always know the play volume is going to be up. So yeah, I like this for Tyson. I need to mull it over a little bit if I'm going to change my pre-draft ranking from Tyson and Tate. But yeah,
you mull it over for a little bit. I got to go back to you, Brett, and I'll say, guys, how awesome is this that the picks are coming in so quickly? I feel like we've just been rattling off pick after pick after pick. When in some years it feels like there's a real lull between each of one of them, but we didn't have really an opportunity to break down the Orville Reese selection. Let's talk about it, Brett. Giants take Orville Reese. You're angry. You're shaking your head. You've had some criticism of Reese, the prospect. But couldn't this be a situation where they have 2 picks inside the top 10 and they took maybe the best possible player in terms of upside? Would you push back on that?
You are taking a complete project player. When I say project, this is what I'm talking about. Orville Reese has less than 20 career pass rush wins as an edge defender against an offensive tackle. Less than 20.
What?
David Bailey has 120 over the last 2 seasons.
How is that possible?
Because he's not an edge defender. He's a positionless player. And so you're taking this guy in the top 5. I don't care how many extra picks you have. You're taking a pure projection that you have completely blocked to get to the field unless you're going to play him off-ball linebacker. And that's where I think he belongs, is off-ball linebacker. But there was a better off-ball linebacker on the board than Sonny Styles. So it's a terrible pick for me, man. I'm sorry.
What I would say is, just from my criticism for, you lose Dexter Lawrence, who was such a presence on the inside against the run, and you had the opportunity to add Sonny Styles, who could have been a neutralizer against the run in a different way. Now your run defense takes a little bit of a hit. I'm gonna hold judgment here because I've been higher on Reese than you have. Let us know in the chat what you think of the Orville Reese selection for New York, and let us know what you think about all of these. And if you have any questions for Brett Whitefield on any of these prospects, drop them. If you have any fantasy football questions for Scott, Ryan, and myself, let us know. But this has been a really fantasy-friendly start. Brett, we're anticipating that the Cleveland Browns, they sort of have to go with a offensive lineman here.
I'm guessing Caden Proctor, but...
Yeah, Caden Proctor, or I'm going to say, I think Spencer Fano might be the pick as
sorry.
well.
I meant Fano. I don't know why I said Proctor. I had Fano in my mind.
I think Spencer Fano would be my bet to go here, the tackle out of Utah. Could there be a wild card pick here, Brett? When we look at the next few selections, the player that maybe is my favorite non-Jeremiah Love player in the entire draft is Caleb Downs. When you're looking at the teams that are picking in the next few picks, where do you anticipate Caleb Downs, the all-everything safety out of Ohio State, played at Alabama beforehand? Where does he ultimately end up? Does he just go at 10 to the Giants?
I mean, literally every team from now until Downs gets picked should consider Caleb Downs. The Browns should consider him here. The Giants at 10, the Dolphins at 11, the Cowboys at 12, the Rams at 13. Maybe not the Ravens. Maybe that's where it stops. But the next 5 picks should all for sure consider Caleb Downs.
Yeah, Caleb Downs, I think, is an awesome player who suffers a little bit here because he plays a non-premium position. Safeties are some of the lowest paid defenders on the field for most teams. And also, he's not like the wow you type athlete, but he's just a nuanced, incredible football player that I think when we look back is going to be an all-pro for many, many years to come. So we're keeping an eye on that one. Keeping an eye on what Cleveland's going to do. Okay, the pick is in. Brett, why don't you announce it?
It's Utah tackle Spencer Fano.
I mean, how good are we, Brett? How good are we?
Yeah.
We just told him Spencer Fano a couple of minutes ago. Let's kick it back to you,
Are you going to finish top 5 in the mock draft contest again?
I'm currently third,
8th.
I think. After that pick, I'm third.
Wow. Look
Well,
at
There's a long way to go, though,
points.
brother.
Hey, shout out to Austin without the I. That's a good friend. Didn't even leave a comment. Just threw us $20.
Hey, let's go, Austin.
Well, I had Mendoza, I had Bailey, I had Love, nailed all those ones, and I had the Sonny Styles one. So I've had 4 direct hits, which isn't bad through 9 picks. And of course, Brett, we got all these guys very similar ranges here. Scott, your Giants are OTC again here at 10th overall. They went with Orville Reese at 5. Now Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate are both off the board. So wide receiver looks out of here. Do they go back to the defensive side of the ball, or do they go Francis Maui Noah, the offensive lineman out of Miami? What do you want them to do? You were not so happy about the last pick. Can you wish cast a player for your Giants?
Man, I don't know. I kind of hope they trade down, like I said, but I think Caleb Downs is in play, just knowing, Harbaugh's MO. They just kind of went best player available enough times. Or Frankie Maui Noah, because, the Giants could use the offensive line help, certainly. So I think it's one of those two, although I don't know. Brett, do you disagree?
Well, Brett, you've brought up sort of a wild card a couple weeks ago. There's another interior offensive lineman that you're very much into. Could we hear Vega Ione's name called here early on?
Yeah, I mean, Ione's the best O-lineman in the draft, I think. Probably best guard prospect since Quentin Nelson. I think he's really clean, can fit a man, gap, or zone scheme, play left guard. The problem is, didn't they just extend, what's his butt, the left guard?
The offensive
John
line
Runyon?
in New York, and the offensive line in New York is pretty set. It would be sort of a push you over the top type pick.
Yeah, for sure.
But my question to you is, if you're going to take Maui Noah and you're going to bump him inside to guard, then why not just take another guard or maybe trade down? Would just be kind of my thoughts. I guess Maui Noah gives you the ability to play tackle as well, flexibility.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess that's
Yeah.
it.
Any chance they consider, because I know they had Casey Conception in for a visit. I know they had McKay Lemon in for a visit. Any chance they consider a wide receiver here?
I think ultimately no. I think there would be a little bit of when you're looking at a pairing with Malik Neighbors, I think the Tyson and Tate would have been a little cleaner just in terms of the way that they would overlap with one another's skill set. Just my gut feel is this comes down to defender or offensive lineman. But hey, the
Harbaugh's obsessed with tiny wide receivers, though. Hollywood Brown,
go.
Zay Flowers. I mean, that's kind of his thing.
Scott Barrett, you already look like you're down bad and you're going to hate this pick.
Oh, God.
We need Scott to get hyped for his Giants right here. Ryan Heath, let's get back to it. We're also going to be in the picks 10 through 20 range. Where's a couple spots for you? I know we had a chance to podcast, the two of us and Jacob Sanderson, sort of making some predictions for this draft. You can go ahead and check that out over on Fantasy Points Dynasty YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing to Fantasy Points YouTube and Fantasy Points Dynasty YouTube if you want to crush your fantasy leagues this season, dropping a ton of free content that can help you in every single format. Ryan, Kenyon Sadiq, we're now starting to get into the range where we're going to talk about him, sort of in that 10 through 25 range. Is there a landing spot for the very athletic tight end at Oregon that you're looking at that could make you super excited for him?
I think for Sadiq, for fantasy, what you want is just dysfunctional offense. He's like the only guy they can throw to. I'm basically just describing the Dolphins right now is like
Thank you, Ryan.
maybe
Thank you, Ryan.
the best immediate fantasy outcome for a Sadiq. But yeah, he's one that I'm not that into the idea of Sadiq in year one. I just hasn't had the production anywhere. Scott and I have both done a ton of work kind of talking about.
Well, timeout. The pick is in, guys.
Sorry,
we're going to get back to Ryan with your thoughts in your loathing of Kenyon Sadiq. We'll get back to it. But first, the pick is in. It is Francis Maui Noah, the offensive lineman from Miami. I had this one. I love this fit. I love this pick. And you talk about an awesome presence against the run here. Brett, you have to like this for Jackson Dart and for Cam Scadaboo in fantasy to get Maui Noah. Terrific lineman. I mean, we had him as the top-rated lineman in this class for a long time. He goes off the board as the second lineman, one pick behind Spencer Fano. But your thoughts on his impact and how good do you think Francis Maui Noah will be for the New York Giants?
Yeah, I really wonder if this is their right guard of the future. Maui Noah, I mean, they just signed Jermaine Illuminor to a contract extension.
But he's 30 plus, right?
Yeah, it's a 3-year deal though with some guaranteed money attached to it. I don't think he just steps aside and lets Maui Noah.
32-year-olds can go. 32-year-olds can. I don't know.
I mean, he's a main man, Theo. He's getting paid.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
they're not.
True. They didn't sign him to ride the bench, making $15 million a year. I mean, that's like he's a made man. one of those guys is playing right guard. Is my point. Whether it's Illuminor or Maui Noah, one of those guys is playing right guard. It's not going to be Daniel Falele apparently, and I think that makes Thomas happy because Falele is a joke. But yeah, I mean that's definitely the right guard or right tackle combo there. So Maui Noah is good though. He's a mauler. Really. I mean, he fits the scheme really well. It's going to be a gap-heavy scheme, a lot of power counter type stuff, duo. Yeah, it's a good pick for them for sure.
Brett,
and I
what
will
if he
say
took him
that,
5 and then he took Reese 10?
Reese would have been,
Brett, you
would have
would've
been a
liked
bad
that
pick
more.
anyways. No, it's the same.
I will say
It's the
that
same.
the team, and Brett, and make sure you're also subscribed to the 2026 NFL Draft Podcast. Brett Whitefield and I broke it down for months and months here. But Brett, one team we always talked about that was in a great spot. The Dallas Cowboys are 2 picks away, and Caleb Downs and Reuben Bane are both on the board. There is going to be some high-fiving in that war room because one of those 2 players, I'm going to be shocked if Dallas doesn't take them. Miami here at 11 is interesting, though, Brett. Miami at 11, they have so many picks, and they are in such a rebuild. Malik Willis signed as a free agent. Devon Achane is set. And when you look at all the holes on their team, it's not going to be cornerback now. I think if Mansoor Delane was available, I think they would have probably taken him at 11. He's done. When I look at Miami here, do I just take best player available in Caleb Downs? Do I take Vega Ione and just build up that interior of the offensive line with a running quarterback and a great running back in Devon Achane? Or do I just take the hometown kid in Reuben Bane and say he's just a stud? Which way do you think Miami goes here with the 11th overall pick?
I mean, if I'm making the pick for Miami, it's got to be Ione or Caleb Downs for sure.
McKay Lemon. I love the McKay Lemon love in the chat. Keep it going. Keep it going. McKay Lemon, if he ends up here with the 11th overall pick, he's going to have 135 targets out the gate. So I think that would be an awesome one. I want to flip it back to you, Scott.
That means they'd have to throw the ball 135 times. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, okay, so I will say that Brett's making reference to it's going to be a run-heavy approach with Malik Willis, but the target share will be elite if Miami pulls the trigger for a wide receiver here. Casey Concepcion and McKay Lemon type would be in a 28, 29% target share out the gate. But I want to quickly get Scott's thoughts. Scott, we're going to workshop that one. Scott's thoughts is going to be a thing on School of Scott this year. Shout out to the Office fans in the chat. If you know, you know.
I've never
Scott,
watched it,
your thoughts. You never watched The Office?
Never.
Let us
I
know in
just
the
watched
chat
The
what you think
Sopranos
about.
over and over and over again.
Okay, so
That's actually true.
I'm down with that one. But you are aware of The Office. Okay, so Scott, let's get your quick thoughts on the Giants selection, drafting an offensive lineman. When you factor in the Dexter Lawrence trade, it comes down to Francis Maui-Noah versus Dexter Lawrence because it was a straight-up trade. Would you rather have Dexter Lawrence or Francis Maui-Noah?
For a team that's sort of rebuilding, probably Frankie, and for the offensive line help. But I mean, I don't doubt Dexter Lawrence is the better player.
Miami Hurricanes Nation, let us know what you think of Scott continually referring to Francis Maui-Noah as Frankie. Interesting one there. Ryan, what do you think here for what do you think of Miami here at 11? Gut feel, which way do you think they're going to go?
I'm feeling McKay Lemon here.
Let's go, Ryan. Let's go.
That might just be fantasy brain talking, but that's kind of what I'm expecting. But
brush the haters off your shoulder, like the one above you, because if McKay Lemon goes here 11 overall, Ryan Heath and I are high-fiving one another metaphorically through the YouTube. And a big shout out to our chat. Our chat is so lit right now. We really appreciate all your support. We appreciate your support helping this YouTube channel grow. We have a chance to push this over 24,000 subs live on this stream. So we'd like to get there. So if you're watching our show, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out a lot. And make sure if you want to hear Ryan, Scott, and I break down all of your Dynasty fantasy football questions, we're dropping absolute fire over on Fantasy Points Dynasty YouTube multiple times a week. That's our new YouTube channel. And if you want to crush your fantasy league this season, we have a flash sale going on over at fantasypoints.com. You're going to save 15% on any of our Fantasy Points subscriptions using the code PointsDraft26. Again, Points Draft 26 gets you 15% off any subscription. Got some very cool stuff planned this offseason. All of Ryan's articles, all of Scott's articles, all of my articles, all of our amazing tools, all of our amazing features, and Fantasy Points data, the best possible source of analytics, data, and statistics in the industry over at fantasypoints.com. Let's get back to it. Miami at
Let's
11
get back
overall.
to tiers, Theo.
Let's do the
Okay, fine. Let's
tiers,
quickly
yeah.
let's go through this. Let's go through this.
Let's rip some of these out. Yeah.
Okay, let's rip through the tiers. Let's go Carnell, Tate. I'm going to go an
S
A tier. They haven't had a wide receiver. They haven't had a wide receiver
Can
one
he be a
since
one?
AJ Brown.
Can
I'm
he be
going
a
S
one?
tier.
Can he be a
Yeah.
PPR cheat code target hog?
Yes.
Because he wasn't last year.
why
He
can't-
had one of the worst targets per route runs. I know Jeremiah Smith was there, but it was also a 12 personnel heavy offense. Big concern I have. Is it A? Is it S?
It's an A tier. And Scott, a lot of your concerns with Carnell Tate and like being this, and Ryan using the word like landing spot sacrificial X. It's out the gate, guys. Ran a 4.5.
These guys,
He's 6
Theo,
foot.
these guys are data nerds. They're
6
complete
foot
losers.
two-
Let's-
6 foot. Okay, just fundamentally, Scott, you've always talked up how we want to bet on these wide receivers who actually run the slowest 40 time among all wide receivers in the round.
This
Like,
is
you've
how you
always
sell
been on-
Carnell Tate on me? Is he slow? And that's great.
No. I'm saying that he's the number 4 overall pick, despite running
yeah.
in the 4.5s.
Yeah,
and
but
despite
wide
being
receiver
6'2".
inflation got crazy post-COVID.
Yes.
It's just teams waking up to positional value and importance.
Whoa.
And this is not a top 5
Wait,
caliber.
guys, with
the
the
wide receivers typically going top 5.
Okay, hold on, guys.
Cowboys
Brett-
moved up a pick.
Cowboys moved up 1.
Yeah, they moved up one pick.
So they're moving up for Caleb Downs. Is my prediction here, Brett.
Yep,
This
that's
is
what
going to
Albert
be
Breer
this is
says.
going to be a Jerry Jones legacy pick. And if you live in the Texas area, in the Dallas area, and you're walking around in a couple months, you're going to see a lot of kids and a lot of adults wearing Downs jerseys if this is in fact the pick.
That's crazy that the Dolphins swindled them to move back one spot.
Yeah, I'd like to know the details on that. It's Jerry Jones. You can get a fortune. Like, wouldn't shock me if they gave up
The
a
pick
round
is
2
in.
pick to move up
The
one
pick
spot.
is in. Caleb Downs is a Dallas Cowboy.
Yep.
This is the Cowboys run pure. The Cowboys, I mean,
Right.
there's criticism of the organization, but Brett, they hit on a ton of guys. Their draft
Yeah,
picks
well,
are
that's
oftentimes
something
hits.
anyone inside an NFL front office will tell you is the Cowboys have the best scouting department by a mile of any team in the league. Jerry Jones spends really good money. They have an elite scouting department. The problem is Jerry Jones like vetoes them and overrules them, but when they let them make the pick, it's gangbusters.
All right, let's go back
Caleb
to tiers.
Downs,
I want to
Brett,
do tiers.
Brett,
Yeah.
Brett, let's back
Can
it
we
up.
keep
Like,
arguing about Carnell Tate?
no
one cares about Caleb
A
Downs, Theo. Let's do
A
tiers.
tier on Carnell Tate. That's
No,
that's
people
in
care
stone.
about. Let's get Brett's breakdown of Caleb Downs though, because this is a really important pick. When we go through this draft, Brett, there's a chance that
Yeah.
Caleb Downs comes out of it as the best player in this entire draft if we look back in 5 years. I mean, is it wrong for me to evoke names like Ed Reed level impact potentially in his career?
Well, yeah, don't comp guys to Hall of Fame.
Okay,
players, but,
okay. Then you make a comp.
I don't know. That's not important. What's important is Caleb Downs is a versatile move piece matchup guy that can play in the slot. He can play in the box. He can play free. Doesn't matter. Put him wherever you need him to play. This is great for the Cowboys. They needed a body like this in the secondary for a long time. So, yeah, that's great.
I mean, it's an awesome pick, and Nick Saban, who had him at Alabama, like speaks glowingly in terms like this is one of his favorite players he's ever coached was Caleb Downs. So an absolute A. Let's go back and do our
Details
tiers
on the
here.
trade. Details
Yeah.
on the trade. Number 11 for number 12, plus the 177 and 180. That's not that bad.
Yeah, no big.
Get your guy.
All right, tiers.
So it's gonna be let's do the tiers, and then we're gonna update you when we get a Miami pick coming in. So Carnell Tate's an A tier.
All right,
let's go ahead.
breeze through the non-offensive players as quickly.
Well, no,
as,
we got
as
Jordan
Brett and you
Tyson.
can.
I want Ryan Heath's take on Jordan Tyson, and then Scott and I will
Chris
jump in.
Olave, one last year on his deal. Kellen Moore, wide receiver 1, has been money for a long time. Did they resign him? Ryan, what are you putting this as?
Yeah, Tyson is at least an A. And yeah,
you.
I've decided while sitting here that he's going to remain my Dynasty rookie 102 as well. Yeah, I just like this better. I just trust Kellen Moore is kind of ultimately what it comes down to. And just to go back to Carnell Tate, like It is just very odd that a 4th overall pick was this unproductive. Like his historic comparables are Travis Hunter and Mike Williams, basically, for guys that have gotten drafted this high.
Hey, Mike Williams.
Have been
Those are
unproductive
also top
as
10 picks.
unproductive
What are
as
you
him,
even
so-
talking about?
Just a quick one, Brett.
The other
in
was my
terms of
downside comp.
target competition. I mean, that Jeremiah Smith guy is not too bad at football.
Yeah, but
It's
it-
not
like,
just
even-
Jeremiah Smith either.
Yeah.
I know,
Ennis
there's
is
multiple
awesome.
players out there.
Max
Yeah,
Blair, the other tight end, Cameron
Yeah,
Seth.
they ran 12 personnel sets at one of the highest rates in the FBS, a top 10 rate, which is lesser target competition. So it's actually not a good thing. And so once you factor that in, with Jeremiah Smith being the best wide receiver prospect in my model since Jamar Chase, it's still very underwhelming and a concern. But in a bad class, he's my wide receiver 1. I just don't have him.
You
in
gotta
the
stop
Malik
saying
Neighbors
bad
tier
class.
like you have him.
Yeah, stop saying bad class, Scott.
You had
because
2
that gets
receivers
thrown out
taken in the
window.
top 8. For Christ's
2 in the
sake.
top 8.
Yeah,
2 in
because
the top
teams
8
are
and one
woke
might
to
get taken
positional
right now.
value, and everyone hates this
Petero
entire
McMillan
draft.
would have gone 3rd overall in this draft.
Oh my
Come
God!
on.
Yes, thank you. Ted McMillan, head and shoulders above Carnell, Tate, and Jordan Tyson.
The only people that don't like this class are doom scrollers like you guys.
Hey,
Yeah,
one thing I
seriously,
will say.
guys,
One
this
thing I
is,
have to say, a concession here to Brett is he is the best in the game when it comes to wide receiver evaluations, and he's better than me. So, yeah, I like fighting you and debating you, but I will say Brett is better than me and better than anyone else.
Francis Maui Noah, Trey Camberling, if we can get Francis Maui Noah coming on stage, just how dope he looks for his interview with the shades on. Said, "I'll die about this shit, man," when talking about
Oh my
Jackson
God,
Dart. I mean,
that's
Francis
awesome.
Maui Noah is going to be beloved by the Giants fan base after this.
You had a starting quarterback who went into the blue medical tent in 40% of his starts last year, and your offensive lineman you took top 10 says, "I will die for this shit." You love that. And Cam Scadaboo, who, we worry about CTE with him as
All right,
well.
let's do the tiers before we get another
Okay,
pick,
let's
for
do the
God's sake.
tiers and
go.
let's get it done because Miami's going to pick very shortly, and we will interrupt the tiers if Miami makes a pick. Don't worry.
And then the Rams
so let's
might
go
take
Arvell Reese.
Mackay Lemon right after that.
Let's
No,
go
no.
Arvell Reese. Brett, your initial lean.
D.
Okay,
If there's an F,
I'll-
put it in F.
I'll say it's a B. Where are you at, Scott?
I'll trust Brett. I'll go with D.
Ryan and
Okay.
Scott don't get votes for
Yeah,
non-fantasy guys.
I'm not gonna. I'm not
Okay,
gonna overrule
okay,
Brett
that's
on
fine.
non-fantasy guys. Come on.
Scott gets the Scott gets the Giants
Okay.
fandom, so he gets to talk about Maui Noah and Reese. Okay, let's go with Tyson already got ranked. Let's talk about Mansoor Delane.
A tier.
I'll go A tier. Okay, that's up there.
Is this a Devon Weatherspoon prospect? Is this a Sauce Gardner level prospect? Is this a shadow cornerback? Okay.
He's
Yeah.
truly elite athleticism, transferred from Virginia Tech to LSU. He's a shutdown corner, and there's also a massive gap between him and cornerback 2. It's sort of if you want to compare it, Scott, it's like Mendoza to Simpson would be Mansoor
Nice,
Delane
yeah.
to cornerback 2 because of McCoy's injury at Tennessee, which was unfortunate timing. Let's go with the Spencer Fano selection, Brett.
I'll go A.
Yeah, I think I got to go A as well. And we looked at how Cleveland has remade their offensive line all offseason long. The one hole that you've been talking about, Brett, is tackle, and they address it with Spencer Fano. So we're there. Francis Maui Noah, considering the 10th overall pick. And let's also throw the fact that the Dexter Lawrence loss into this one. Let's just throw it in there just for fun.
I'll go A.
Yeah, I think I got to go A as well. Francis Maui Noah is a stud. Is there anybody we're leaving off here? Oh, Caleb Downs, S tier.
Yeah, that's S.
Caleb Downs, S tier, for sure. Let us know in the comments what you think about our tier list and what do you think about our choice to use it and what your favorite pick of the night. What's your favorite pick of the night, Brett? Let's go around the horn here.
Sonny Styles, 7.
Ryan,
Why is that
your
not an
favorite
S
pick of
tier, by
night?
the way?
Oh, it should be S tier. We forgot to add it on there. S tier, Sonny Styles. When we skip a bunch of picks, it's hard for me to keep track of the tier list.
Oh my God!
Okay, hold on. We're gonna announce it.
We have the Rams pick, but we don't have the Dolphins pick. The Rams are picking Ty Simpson at 13.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, baby.
It was trolling in chat. Oh my god.
No
I
way.
thought that was a joke when I
Wait,
saw
who
that.
did the Dolphins pick?
Well, I
Where
don't
are
see
you
the
hearing
Dolphins.
this?
We're not. This is like like an
better not be-
election, and we're not
Are you
confirming
getting
yet
punked?
because I don't have a
getting
12.
punked.
I don't. Brett,
Who's
I don't have a
reporting
12th
this?
pick yet, though, so we're not gonna.
I can't.
The
I
Dolphins
can't tell
took
you.
Caden Proctor, according to Joe Dolan. So let's put Caden Proctor. How is the Rams selection in? But I don't see it. The Rams selection's confirmed. I'm seeing it all over. The Rams select Ty
Jordan
Simpson.
Schultz is tweeting stuff. People are wow, this is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Caden
Underdog tweeted
Proctor.
it.
Caden Proctor goes to, and Ryan Heath. We'll get to the dynasty bailout we just got for our rookie picks, but rookie pick bag holders.
Hey,
Hey, we're back, guys. We are back because we have a quarterback going off the board at 13.
I did a podcast with Sean Siegel where the whole theme is like how awful the 111 is. And so like now finally,
Yeah.
Well, time out,
In a
guys.
Superflex?
Guys, time out. Ty Simpson's not going 111 anymore. Ty Simpson's going earlier than that. He just went off the board 13 overall, and he's in a Sean McVay offense with Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez,
Like,
Theo, you're right.
Yeah,
Dang it.
Yeah.
It's,
Where are
it's,
you
it's
going?
perfect.
Well, what are we talking- what are we talking about? We gotta
Boomers are gonna
reassess that
draft
one.
Their quarterback super
Ryan-
high
Ryan
and
Heath,
super
I want-
flex now. We'll get.
Hold on, Ryan
we'll
Heath.
get all
I'm
the
gonna
other
have you do
prospects
this,
to me.
Ryan. I want you to get the pad and paper out, and I want you to think about this for 1 minute. We're gonna go 60 seconds on the clock for Ryan Heath. Ryan Heath is gonna debut how right now he would select all of the skill position players in rookie mock drafts in 60 seconds. We're going back to Ryan Heath. Let's quickly talk about these picks. Caden Proctor, Brett. This is the first pick for this era of the Miami Dolphins front office. Guys coming over from Green Bay. Okay, they signed Malik Willis. They've got Devon Achane, and they go with Caden Proctor. So we've had we knew there would be a lot of offensive tackles off the board. Caden Proctor is another guy we've been talking about since November. 360 pounds. Played at 400 this year, apparently.
Yeah, he's an elite athlete. He's an elite athlete despite the size. He's going to play right tackle for them. Austin Jackson was not very good last year. He's been banged up. I think he's got no guaranteed money left on his contract, I believe. And so, yeah, this is their right tackle of the future. And now you got an offensive line that looks young and good. Patrick Paul at left tackle, Jonas Savianaya at left guard, who's awesome. Aaron Brewer is the most underrated player in the entire league at center. And then they brought in my guy Jamarie Sallier to play right guard. This is an awesome move for them. I really like the fit with Caden Proctor, what they want to do
Guys,
on
no
offense.
one cares. Can we,
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Guys, in the chat, do you want to hear
Simpson
Brett?
is like the story
guys.
of the century.
Okay, hold on, guys. Let's before we
one
get to Ty
cares about an
Simpson, I
offensive
will point out Baltimore is about to pull a Dallas because my
I don't
thought
care.
is this is
we should
yes,
just
they
talk
do.
Ty Simpson for the next
So
90
in
minutes.
the chat, do you care more about Reuben Bane or Ty Simpson? I think it's probably going to be 50-50.
No.
They do care. Scott, they absolutely care. They absolutely care. But let's get back to Ty Simpson before I kick it over to Ryan Heath. People care about all the picks, guys. Every pick matters in the NFL draft for a reason. But Ty Simpson, Brett.
Is this fantasy points or pancake blocking points.com?
This points. That's a fair assessment. Ty Simpson, though, guys.
No, it's not a fair assessment because offensive line play is more important for scoring fantasy points than the actual guys who score the freaking fantasy points.
Okay, well, we're going to
that's
get back
true
to
about-
Brett on the breakdown, but let's go Ty Simpson. So, guys, Ty Simpson here doesn't have a whole lot of starts. We hear the rumblings that the Rams really love him. We've heard that for about 2 weeks. And a lot of times you dismiss this. I had Arizona taking him about 20 picks later than this. Ryan Heath, I will point out, we were on a podcast the other day. I said Ty Simpson goes first round. You said falls out of the first round. So, just there. But Ty Simpson, guys, thrown out the window. He has some squint and see some Brock Purdy to his game. We've talked about that on Film versus Analytics. Ryan Heath.
No. I want to hear Brett's film take on
Yes,
Ty Simpson.
on Simpson.
How
Yes,
egregious is a top 15 pick on a guy who had started one season and only the first half of them any good?
It's not egregious because the scarcity of the position, because quarterback is the most important position in all of football. And guys, if you go watch Film versus Analytics, you asked me what my ideal landing spot was. Guess what team I said? The LA Rams. This is the best of both worlds because Ty Simpson is an inexperienced player. So you have to live in this dichotomy of he needs reps, but he's also not ready to play. Matthew Stafford is not going to play in the preseason. He's not even going to play in training camp. So Ty Simpson gets to come in, be the QB1 all through training camp, all through the preseason games, get those valuable reps, and then he takes a back seat to Matthew Stafford for the regular season. This is literally the best of both worlds. He will get the valuable reps he needs while also being a backup quarterback for the first year or two. This is a dynamite spot. Go watch the Film vs. Analytics on YouTube. I mentioned this exact scenario on that show. This is perfect. But skill set wise, Simpson's got a freaking rocket arm. He's not like Stafford necessarily level rocket arm, but he's got a monster arm. He's really nimble in the pocket, awesome escapability. He's got some mechanical flaws and some progression issues reading defenses, but that's going to come with experience. And I think as he tightens that up, he'll become a better player. It's definitely risky given the profile, but I love the swing at it. I love that he gets to sit behind Matthew Stafford for a year. This is absolutely perfect for Ty Simpson.
We talked about this like
Ryan
directly.
Heath, how many times have we talked about league winners in fantasy and where they reside? Is it not like the nuts landing spot for a quarterback is being Sean McVay's quarterback? Especially when you have Puka
literally
Nacua,
is.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, McVay by himself has produced like 30% of the fantasy league winners in the past 5 years or something absurd like that. I have a tweet about it, but yeah, no, long term, this is legitimately exciting for Simpson. You have to be interested, I think, even if you're like super anti-overpay for quarterbacks and Superflex like I am, like this gets him into the 106, 107 conversation for me in Dynasty rookie drafts.
A 1,000,000%. And also, like we talked about this was the dream scenario, Brett. We originally, LA had the 29th overall pick and the 13th overall pick, so they had two shots at it. We said maybe they take Ty Simpson, and then they put him on the Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts path, where he sits for at least a year. That just came true. And like you mentioned, Matthew Stafford doesn't really practice, and he doesn't play in preseason. So Ty Simpson's going to get a ton of reps. This is an ideal scenario, and when he finally does take over the reins, barring Sean McVay saying, I've had enough of being a head coach, which there's always those rumors out there, but you don't really believe him. He steps into like an unbelievable position, and they didn't have to trade up to get a quarterback here. They had the pick, they stood and picked, and they used it on a quarterback. So I get it. Would I have taken Ty Simpson at 13 overall? No, never in a million years. But I think McVay knows something about offensive football, and they have a plan for him. So that's where we're at. And as promised, Ryan Heath, on the fly, of the players drafted, what order should they go in your Dynasty rookie draft? Superflex, tight end premium? Yeah.
No one
Not
wants
that
to
we've
hear
had a
your
tight end
whack
yet,
ass
but
Fernando Mendoza take. So Jeremiah Love, then Mendoza, and then go.
Okay, no, it's Love, and then for me, it's Jordan Tyson, then it's Carnell Tate, then it's Mendoza, and then it's Ty Simpson. You guys are so obsessed with your quarterbacks in Superflex.
You're just wrong.
They are
You're just
not
wrong.
as scared.
If Dak
Yeah, I mean, Scott, Scott's
Prescott-
old school, Ryan's new school.
If Dak Prescott were in this class, where would you take him? You would take him 102. Fernando Mendoza is 11
you?
years younger. Yes.
What is this hypothetical? Like, I know that Dak Prescott's going to have the career he's had, and he is the same age as Mendoza. Like, what are you actually asking?
And also Scott, that great point from the Fantasy Points Dynasty commenter here. Yeah, we know what Dak Prescott is. Like, I think Fernando Mendoza is going to do really well.
But he's
with
also
Kubiak.
12 years older. I'm just talking about. Listen, we don't need to rehash it, but
yeah, it does. Make sure you go check out the most recent Dynasty Points pod where Scott joined the crew and sort
did you
of
watch
argued.
that? Did you listen to that?
No, I didn't listen to it, but I know of it. Okay. I'm going to listen to it tomorrow at the gym, I promise. But the argument, I did listen to you on
it.
Yeah, the streets are talking about it because it's positional scarcity argument from Scott. But lately, Ryan, we've been able to hit on a lot of these QB2s, and embracing these sort of wide receivers, I think, is the way that I like to play Dynasty. And let us know in the chats. What you're saying. Also, shout out to the chat. Somebody says we're behind. They mentioned Simpson like way earlier. Yeah, we missed that one. The Proctor pick and the Simpson pick sort of dropped all at once for us. We're going to get back on track here, trying to announce these picks earlier. So we are waiting here. Baltimore Ravens on the clock. Feels like Reuben Bane, Brett?
I can't predict. Yeah, Reuben Bane doesn't really fit what they want to do unless they're going to put him inside. Jesse Minter is going to have that hybrid multiple front. I don't know. Maybe because he's the best player available. Maybe the Ravens just do what the Ravens always do and just take the best player available. But it just doesn't. I don't know that I see the fit. Vega Ione would probably be my pick. Vega Ione or Kenyon Sadiq maybe. Although I think Kenyon Sadiq goes in the 20s, but I don't know.
Vega Ione is who I had in my mock draft. I mean, there's a player that sort of aligns with Baltimore. It's Vega Ione. They have a real need on the interior offensive line, and he's an absolute stud. And how do you maximize a Lamar Jackson bounce back season and a Derrick Henry, let's get what we can out of him before eventually, I mean, he has to break down at some point, is you take Ione and just be a unbelievable run offense. But I think that there's Reuben Bane, and we've looked at what Baltimore's done over the years, Brett, sapping up value when it's presented to them on the board, and just figuring it out with Reuben Bane. Just figure it out. You got Trey Hendrickson. They add Reuben Bane. Mike Green last year. I mean, that's pretty good right there if you had that trio in terms of getting to the quarterback. So I think I would probably throw away my plan and just take Reuben Bane. Ryan Heath, what would you do?
Yeah, that's fair.
I just read a tweet per Jay Glazer. Sean McVay told Matthew Stafford today the draft Ty Simpson and made it clear it's for whenever Stafford decides to retire.
The pick is in.
And I think
sorry, Scott. The pick is in. The Baltimore Ravens with the 14th overall pick select Vega Ione, the Penn State guard. This is, I mean, Brett, it's like this is a perfect fit. Shocking fall for Reuben Bane. I guess the NFL really did care about the arm length thing. The wingspan is killing him right now. And also you had the off-field, which wasn't really new to NFL teams, but it was new to the public. Maybe that has swayed a couple of these teams. I don't know, Brett, how to balance that. But I think it's really the wingspan thing with Reuben Bane.
And off-field, right? I mean, he's got both.
The off-field stuff, I think the off-field stuff did play a big factor in it. But let's talk about the Vega Ione selection. You mentioned he's the best offensive lineman in this draft class. I think you might be right on that one. Plays a non-premium offensive line position, but an absolute stud for Penn State this past year. Break down how you think his impact will be for this Baltimore Ravens team.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute stud. He's going to slide in left guard for them. They've obviously, I mean, Thomas Tipple knows they need big-time talent boost on the interior of that offensive line, especially after losing, all-world center to the Vegas Raiders there. So, yeah, he's a mauler.
They might have they might have two rookies on the interior because they might draft their center. There's some buzz from the beat reporters in Baltimore that they're going to look at center as a priority selections at some point in this draft as well.
Yeah, I think it's entirely possible they could see Vega as that as well. I'm pretty sure he was asked at the combine if he was open to snapping. So
yeah, I mean, but this is Ryan, your thoughts on this one and your general vibes with Declan Doyle taking over as offensive coordinator, 28 years old. Declan Doyle is, I mean, it's a huge hire coming over from Chicago. Yeah, I mean, Declan Doyle,
2 years older than me. He's basically a baby. So what I'm thinking right here is you asked earlier with Kenyon Sadiq, if this spot or the Buccaneers are kind of the two realistic good spots for him in my mind. Here you have Doyle. Of course, this didn't happen, but with the Bears, they were near the top of the league in 2 tight end sets last year. Zach Robinson with the Buccaneers, the same. But after this kind of band, Kenyon Sadiq's estimation for fantasy, at least in year 1, goes down for me. If the Buccaneers don't pick him right here, just because there aren't as many immediately obvious spots to me where he's just going to instantly be on the field and that they're going to commit to kind of, letting a rookie tight end run a ton of routes. So that's something to watch here. That's kind of a low key storyline.
Yeah, and don't sleep, Ryan, on the Jets at 16 who have been linked to a wide receiver for a long time, also being in contention for Kenyon Sadiq. When you look at this Jets team, I realize they took Mason Taylor last year, but if you look at Frank Reich and his history with tight ends, getting that sort of a move tight end in there with that sort of speed and yakability and Sadiq, I think that would also be a fantasy-friendly spot. And you consider sort of the lack of big-time target earner at the wide receiver 2 spot. So these next 2 picks could very much be fantasy-friendly, and we also have to keep an eye on Reuben Bane. Just how far does he fall? I'll throw this one out to you, Brett. there's a couple of these teams could consider trading up to him. And I'll just throw out there, the Dallas Cowboys at 20 could end up trading up, getting a little Reuben Bane here. I think that's me kind of sort of wish casting it a little bit because I've had them taking Reuben Bane in mock drafts, but it just would feel like a Jerry Jones night to walk out of the room with Caleb Downs and Reuben Bane. Reuben Bane, I think there's going to be some teams that are going to consider moving up here. Tampa Bay could just take him as well. I know Akeem Mesidor has actually been linked to Tampa Bay in this spot. So the other Miami defensive end, your thoughts on which way Tampa Bay goes here, Brett? I thought maybe Tampa Bay would consider trading out of this pick, but too many good players on the board.
The pick is actually in, and it's Reuben Bane here to the Buccaneers at 15. So
absolutely,
they were linked to
awesome
Mesidor.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's probably just a simple case of didn't anticipate the guy being there, right? So they go ahead and just take. I mean, Reuben Bane's a better player than Mesidor. Mesidor is also ancient. I think he was one of the beat writers I pay attention to tweeted something along the lines of Akeem Mesidor was in high school when Keldrick Falk was born, which I thought was a hilarious joke. But anyways, yeah, Reuben Bane's a stud.
It's an amazing pick, and I'll throw it out there. History repeats itself. I'm going to age myself here. I'm not 26 years old like Ryan Heath, in case you didn't know from looking at me on YouTube. But, guys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you go back in time to the 1990s, and there was another Miami defensive lineman that fell in Tampa Bay's laps, and that was Warren Sapp, who fell a little bit further in the draft than a lot of people had anticipated for him. Turned out to be an unbelievable player for them, a multiple all-pro, and now Tampa Bay ends up with Reuben Bane. So I'm going to throw it out there. The history repeats itself. This is Warren Sapp Part 2, potentially. Brett, what do you think of that one?
I mean, you think Reuben Bane's going to play three techniques for them and an even front?
No.
Okay.
When I say history, they're not the same, but they both play defensive line. One's going to play the edge. One's going to play defensive tackle. They both fell in the NFL draft to a little bit further, and they both end up as Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm not going to be the only one that's going to say this. By tomorrow, you're going to hear a lot of people making parallels to this one.
Both possibly bad dudes as well. So, there's that too. Well, Warren Sapp is certified bad dude, right? Reuben Bane, we're not sure on yet. But typically when a guy makes the mistake he made, you don't get then arrested for a DUI a year later. Typically you learn from your mistakes, right? Reuben Bane didn't. I think that's probably why he fell a little bit. Wasn't the first incident, it was probably the second one.
I think it was the wingspan. I think the wingspan's why he fell.
Well, the wingspan's good. Theo, the wingspan's like 80th percentile. It's the arm length that's bad.
Okay, excuse me.
Yeah.
Arm length. I said arm length I should have said arm length, not wingspan, but I think it was the arm length thing where he's an outlier in terms of arm length. So talk about that a little bit, Brett. You didn't care about that. But his arm length
especially because the combine changed their protocol for that. They changed the way they were measuring arms. So universally, this is the giant red flag you need. Universally, wingspans actually went up across the league at the combine, while arm length dropped precipitously. It makes literally no sense, obviously. They completely changed the way they started measuring arms. And so I think we'll get 5-6 years of data and we'll realize we'll have to reset what percentiles look like for these guys and benchmarks. But, yeah.
So let's just do a quick recap. Brett, you can interrupt me if there's another pick that's made, but a couple of fantasy players that avoided competition, some guys we could call winners right now. When we go back to, obviously, Arizona, all those running backs are nuked. Obviously, Wan'Dale Robinson takes a little bit of a hit in terms of the opportunistic wide receiver one. Carnell Tate is that. But Cam Scattaboo comes out of this unscathed, avoids Jeremiah Love. He's in a good spot as sort of a RB20 range running back in best ball. When we look at Kansas City, Rashee Rice avoids another young, dynamic wide receiver coming in and competing with him for targets. Washington Commanders running backs, there's a bunch of them competing with each other, but Ja'Cory Krusky-Merritt, Rashad White, both are right now winners, considering it was Sonny Styles and not Jeremiah Love. Chris Olave now has a little bit of target competition in Jordan Tyson. I think they're very different. Olave is still a great bet, but the chance for Olave to maybe lead the NFL in targets, which he was at 150 last year, getting to 170 is in the wheelhouse. That sort of goes out the window. Cleveland, Harold Fannin Jr. is still running pure at this point, but 24 overall could end up being a wide receiver selection. I know he's a tight end, but we want Fannin to lead them in targets if we're really rooting on Harold Fannin. And then getting down to it, That's really about it, guys. That's about it. Mark Andrews avoids the Kenyon Sadiq landing spot. And as for now, Miami does not pick a wide receiver, but they still pick again towards the tail end of the first round. Jets OTC here at 16. Brett, this feels like it should be a wide receiver pick for the Jets. Which way do you think they go?
If they go receiver, I've had them pegged for Omar Cooper Jr. I think that'd be
That's
a great
who I had
fit
in my mock draft too.
Nice. That'd be a great fit for Garrett to go along with Garrett Wilson, the run after catch stuff. Wilson's a 3-level threat, but Cooper's so dynamic after the catch, gives them some slot verticality. I think Adonai Mitchell's probably going to play the X for them next year, so it'd be a really nice trio, a lot of explosiveness. I really like it. And just Geno Smith is going to improve the situation. I know we kind of clown on him a little bit. He's not a very good quarterback, but he's good for fantasy typically, except for last year, right? So, but
yeah,
I would say
John
Omar
Hanson
Cooper.
back with us now.
Yeah, could they go Colton Hood here, Theo, you think?
They could go Colton Hood, but I think there's going to be some cornerbacks available to them when they pick at the beginning of the second round. If you look at sort of that wheelhouse where why take a corner here at 16 when you're going to have access to guys like Chris Johnson, guys like Colton Hood going somewhere from 25 on. Plus, with all those picks, and they're already in a rebuild, they could pull the trigger on McCoy if he's right around them by the time they pick at the beginning of the second. So I don't think this is going to be a cornerback selection. Just my gut feel is this ends up being a wide receiver. John Hanson, any pick you want to talk about?
Well,
oh, wow.
I mean, go ahead. What happened?
John, wait, Brett, break down the pick.
Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, Oregon, to the Jets.
And I just said that one a minute ago. I love the landing spot. And let's talk about this
We're big Mason
one.
Taylor guys, though. That's not good.
We're not Mason Taylor guys anymore because he just got nuked, guys. Let's talk about Frank Reich and his history with tight ends. Your thoughts on this one, John Hanson?
Frank Reich never met a tight end he didn't want to put on the field. I mean, the guy used 4 tight ends in Indianapolis. So the Jets are going to jet, and they're going to ruin Kenyon Sadiq. Early call.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's not good for my Sadiq is good takes, for sure.
Well, no, I'm going to push back on you guys. I think that the way, like, we can get all these nuanced answers from some of these tight end enthusiasts out there in fantasy football that are, Brett, we're seeing these guys trying to use charts and all the different ways of doing it. But the simplest way of looking at the tight end position is this player a top 2 target on his offense? You go down the list of all the guys who were tight end ones this year in fantasy and last year and the year before, 90+% of them are top 2 targets on their offense. You draft Kenyon Sadiq at 16 overall, guys, over wide receivers like McKay Lemon, over wide receivers like Omar Cooper Jr. They obviously have a plan for him. This is a I think a great landing spot for him. So I guess we're butting heads a little bit on that one.
I think this
John,
bodes well for Jelani Woods to have a breakout. This is going to be Jelani Woods' breakout as the 4th tight end under Skank Reich. I mean, this is bad. I don't like this at all. I do not like. I mean, and look, and Geno Smith, maybe a professional quarterback. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, one of the 3 worst quarterbacks last year. So he might have hit some age wall too. So he might suck and not be able to support even 1 tight end, not to mention 2.
Winner Ryan Heath, the winner of this pick, Garrett Wilson. Target share is going to be unscathed though. I mean, what's the ceiling for the number 2 target in New York next year? If it's a tight end, you're talking about 85, 90 targets, and you took Adonai Mitchell also comes out of this pick with a chance to return as the wide receiver 2 next year in New York. So, Brett, your Detroit Lions are on the clock.
Nervous.
You're nervous.
I'm sweating bullets over here.
Okay, so we talked about this on the phone yesterday. The entire world has the Detroit Lions selecting an offensive tackle. Keldrick Falk from Auburn is also a player that we talked about them being linked to. I kind of like them going edge rusher here, just as an off-the-cuff one, but it's probably offensive tackle. What's your gut feel? Or Mesidor?
People I know close to the situation think it's going to be Falk. I don't think they anticipated Mesidor being here, though, and I could see them like Mesidor and Falk both fit what they want to do on the edge to a T. They obviously could use offensive tackle.
One's 21, one's 21, and one's 25.
One's 20 and one's 25.
I think Mike Renner dropped that one that 20 age it should be 21. I think I saw Renner like correct that thing.
Gotcha.
But
well, anyways,
he's still super young, super young.
Yeah, I mean, Mesidor was literally like in his third year of college when Falk was graduating high school, or fourth year of college, so whatever.
Let me recap the last few picks because we have a couple people in the chat. Cowboys took Caleb Downs, safety, Ohio State. The Miami Dolphins selected Caden Proctor, the massive offensive tackle out of Alabama. LA Rams selected Ty Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama. The Baltimore Ravens selected Vega Ione, the offensive guard out of Penn State. Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected Reuben Bane, who fell all the way down to 15. Maybe Warren Sapp part 2, John, in terms of the impact he could have for the franchise, and he falls in the NFL draft. And then the Jets select Kenyon Sadiq, 4.3940 at the tight end position, and they take Kenyon Sadiq over a bunch of wide receivers that they were linked to. So very interesting pick there. John.
Now we have pick 17 real quick.
Okay, so announce the pick,
Blake
Brett.
Miller, offensive tackle, Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay, so Blake Miller, we talked about him this morning, Brett. I called Brett this morning, and I mean, I will say, Brett, throughout the NFL draft process, I think me and you probably talk like 4 or 5 times a day. And Blake Miller, we talked about. Blake Miller, the guy has, 55 starts?
54.
Wrestling background, great.
Yeah.
Go break down your thoughts on Blake Miller.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Miller, like, you're getting the most experienced player in the entire draft class. 54 college starts at the Power 4 level is absurd. He's been a right tackle starter since the day he stepped on Clemson's campus. He's a good player. He's got this nasty streak that, the Lions are into. They want to restore that run game. Jahmyr Gibbs averaged 3 yards a carry from the final 6 games last year. That can't ever happen again, especially not if you're going to give the guy $20 million a year, right? So Blake Miller comes in. He's got this nasty streak in the run game. What's weird about Miller he tested as a freak athlete. I don't know that you see quite that level of athleticism on tape, but you do see good movement skills. The weird part with Miller, though, is he's not as technically refined as you would expect a guy with 54 freaking career starts to be. He's a good player, though. I was content with him here. I preferred him in a small trade back, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I'm okay with it. It's I'd give this pick a B as a Lions fan.
Yeah,
it's an identity pick.
It is an identity pick. You're 100% correct. Getting back to the way the things used to be, for sure.
Miller was linked to a bunch of these teams in this range, and I think when you look at him versus guys like Nacher and versus guys like Monroe, Freeling, you're getting a sort of a finished product here with more experience, Brett. So I understand Detroit doing this. Now, Penei Sewell, we talked about Penei Sewell being converted over to left tackle. This makes sense because Blake Miller is going to play right tackle for Detroit this year, correct?
Yeah. Blake Miller's a right tackle. 54 starts at right tackle. They've already announced they're moving Penei Sewell to left tackle, so it's perfect. It was also predictable because of that. That's why the Caden Proctor noise didn't make a ton of sense because he's a left tackle. Not that guys can't switch. I've talked to a lot of O-line coaches who, coming out of college, they haven't played enough football to care about flipping sides. Once they play 5 years in the league, it's kind of hard to do it. But Penei moves to the left side. Blake plays right side. The Lions O-line getting a massive overhaul this offseason. They've brought in a ton of bodies. Cade Mays at center, Blake Miller right tackle. They got like a 4-way competition at left guard now too. And Tate Ratledge was awesome last year as a rookie. So I think things are looking up for the Lions run game for sure.
Yeah, so John Hanson, your Vikings are on the clock here at 18, and everyone under the sun has them taking Oregon safety Dylan Thieneman. Are you down with that? You think it's going to be something else?
No, I'm not down with it. I'm not yet given up on Harrison Smith. He has not yet officially filed his retirement papers and all that. He still played at, far as I know, a pretty damn good level last year. We didn't really hear too much about him being a problem. He seemed to be involved in a lot of the plays. He's still doing the flag football thing. He's one of the all-time great Vikings. So perhaps, he's gotten over the catastrophe that was last year. But, they won 5 in a row. They were only half a game out of the playoffs. Who's to say they don't make a run? Granted, the quarterback situation probably precluded that. But they were a lot closer than people think. So I'm going to guess that Harrison Smith wants to run it back one more time. And then the Vikings will then, I believe, go to address their biggest deficiency, which is their run defense last year. So I had them taking Caden McDonald out of Ohio State. Took an Ohio State mauler trench guy last year and Donovan Jackson. And I like him. I thought he was good. I know he had some injury problems, but we'll see. I mean, Thieneman, no one would argue. And maybe if that is the pick, then Harrison Smith is probably going to call it a career. But I'm not ready to say that. I'm going to go with Caden McDonald.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Thieneman. I understand Caden McDonald. I think Peter Woods would also be a consideration, the defensive tackle for Clemson, if they want to go in that direction. Brett, you're ultimately. I had Thieneman here. I talked to you yesterday. I think that Thieneman goes here to Minnesota or 19 to Carolina. And Brett, if there was no Caleb Downs in this draft class, how hyped would people be for Thieneman?
Yeah, he's awesome. Similar to Downs in some ways, where he's a guy who's got like 800 career snaps at free safety, 800 in the box, 800 over the nickel. And that's kind of the guys Brian Flores likes. However, I kind of agree with John a little bit. I think the consensus that it's absolutely a safety here is a little much. Last year, we saw the same thing. Every mock draft had the Vikings taking a safety. They didn't take a safety. So it's not a guarantee they take one here.
Yeah, we're going to wait and see that. We're also going to get Scott Barrett's thoughts on the Kenyon Sadiq selection. Scott's back with us right now. Well, go ahead, Scott, until we get the Minnesota one. Take your thoughts on the Kenyon Sadiq.
Did you see it, John? Did you see it?
What? The pick? No. I'm still
pick.
Lamenting the Kenyon Sadiq pick.
Brett, just announce the pick if you have the pick.
I don't have it. I thought John was reacting to it. My bad.
Oh, okay. So Scott, I'll say to you, like, we've now seen this for 3 straight years where this range of the draft is where the tight end one goes. We saw Brock Bowers. Then last year we saw Warren and Loveland. And then now Kenyon Sadiq in the similar range at 16 overall.
Yeah, again, this is a weak class. I had Brock Bowers
but this is 3 years in a row.
Top 5 overall pick. I had Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland as a top 7 overall picks. And Sadiq, I do not have deserving of mid round 1 draft capital in like a perfectly average class. And again, so this was a prospect I wasn't very high on to begin with. And then he goes to what looks to me like a fairly awful landing spot, just the dysfunction of the New York Jets, how you probably have a lame duck head coach, a quarterback you're not really tied to in the long term. And you have Mason Taylor, who you spent day 2 capital on last year. This isn't all that exciting to me. This is pretty awful, and it makes me feel pretty good about my Eli Stowers tight end 1 call, where, hey, if he goes to Miami in round 2, like that's game over. It's just an exponentially better landing spot for a player I liked more anyway.
I want to cue up my guy Tony Pauline's legendary clip from the Kyle Brady draft. Jets going to have 6 tight ends on the field. What does it matter? Geno can't throw anyway.
Oh, wow. John, you were close on this pick. You said Caden McDonald. It is a defensive tackle, but it's not Caden McDonald.
Yes, plus 210, baby.
Announce it, Brett.
It's Caleb Banks, defensive tackle from Florida.
Ooh, well,
wow.
The injury question has been answered lately.
Now
That was your top defensive interior, right?
Let's back up and talk Caleb Banks real quick, because Brett, we were down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, and if the aliens landed in Mobile and we said go pick the best football player on the field, the most physically imposing guy, they would pick Caleb Banks. He's an absolute unit. But then you talk about Caleb Banks where foot problems. So a lot of us, including myself, dropped Caleb Banks out of our first round projection and sort of said that it's not going to happen. This is massive, because this is probably where Caleb Banks would have gone without in our projections, if we didn't think the foot injury was going to be anything. So it seems like he got a clean bill. Minnesota might have just gotten a steal here. Your thoughts on Caleb Banks, a player you've been high on for many months?
So full disclosure, my weighted scoring system, I have 4 buckets. One of those buckets is an intangibles bucket. Part of intangibles is health. I knocked Caleb Banks for health, which dropped him to my interior 3. But if I were to remove that, that flag, then just go by film score, he was my interior 1 for sure. So, if the health checks out, John, you guys just got a Ferrari. You just need your defensive coordinator to put it together. It's a completely unassembled Ferrari, but you have the parts to make a Ferrari. So I think that's That's impressive. As a Lions fan, it's funny. They go Blake Miller to improve the run game, and then you counter with Caleb Banks and say, no, not so fast.
Well, you're the one who pointed out how they oh, great, you got a lot of interior pass rushers, but you guys suck.
Yep.
You just traded away Harrison Bryant. But welcome back to the Vikings. Harrison Smith, baby. Let's go.
Let's go in and do the tier list, and let's update it. So, John, we'll just go backwards. Let's go Caleb Banks. Where does Caleb Banks tier for you, with S being the top, A being second, B, etc.?
I'm going to go S. If healthy, I'm going to go S.
Okay, so John loves the pick for Caleb Banks. Let's go with the Blake Miller selection. Brett Whitefield, your Lions. Your thoughts on Blake Miller, the fit, and where he tiers in?
Yeah, I really like the player. It's not enough for me to call it an A, though. I'm going to go B there.
Okay, B tier. Let's go Ty Simpson. Let's go Scott Barrett, where, you've unpacked this one. You've had a while to think about this. The LA Rams getting the Matt Stafford successor without trading any additional draft capital. But we still have questions about Ty Simpson. And where are you at when you unpack this one?
Yeah, so from a fantasy perspective, especially, you're balancing like the dream play caller in Sean McVay with maybe this is the Aaron Rodgers treatment, where Jay Glazer said, they told Stafford earlier today that this is going to happen, but there's, it's when he's ready to retire. Maybe that's 3 years from now. Maybe he suffers an injury and it's sooner than that. I think I give this with more thought, either a B or an A, but probably a B for me. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he doesn't work out, you, again, didn't have to trade up additional capital. They sat and picked. I would have taken McKay Lemon if I was the Rams, or possibly an offensive tackle. But McKay Lemon was my selection. I would have leaned into this year.
Right. I mean, that's what got them to the Super Bowl, right? That's what they, F them picks all in to win the Super Bowl, and it worked out. And now they're going the other direction with it.
It's a long-term pick for the franchise health instead of.
But I think it's risky for this year. I think it's risky for this year. I mean, I did a podcast about 3 weeks ago, the Fantasy Points podcast, where I threw out some names of players. I think I'm a little higher on these guys than the masses. Ty Simpson was one of them.
John, the pick is in. The Carolina Panthers select Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle from Georgia.
Wow.
We'll get back to John's thoughts on Ty Simpson, but Brett, you talked about Carolina's need for an offensive tackle. We both ended up having Carolina taking an OT in our final mock draft.
Yeah.
Your thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, Ike Ekwonu's got a really big knee problem. It's potentially not super fixable. So I think this is obviously a hedge play for that. I will say, though, Theo, if McKay Lemon doesn't go right here at 20, I win our earlier bet from like episode 2 or 3 of the draft podcast, where I told you McKay Lemon would not, I guaranteed he would not be a top 20 pick. I'm just saying, you have one pick left. And the Eagles just traded up to 20, so I might get sniped right here. We'll see.
I do think it's risky of the Rams, though, because
listen, guys.
Go ahead. The
Eagles just traded with the Cowboys?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, okay.
No, I was gonna get back to the McKay Lemon one.
No, I just think the Rams not going with a wide receiver is risky for this year. I get it with Ty Simpson, but if Devontae, I have no confidence in those hamstrings of Devontae. And if Devontae goes down, as he did last year, and Puka has some problem, I mean, they're really thin a receiver. So it's a little risky, but I see the long-term vision for sure.
They still have pick 61, and there's a lot of good receivers in this draft.
True.
They could still get somebody. They could get your boy Elijah Surratt even,
Yeah, true. All right.
But an in-division trade between the Cowboys and the Eagles, who do you think it's for?
One of my Scott, let me ask you. One of my bets was 2 tight ends in round 1 at plus 850.
Ooh.
Now this would be pretty absurd, but well, maybe not. Your boy Eli Stowers. What do you think? Do you think a team might move back up as the Eagles have just moved up a little bit? I mean, what do you think of Stowers' chances of going tonight?
I mean, at plus 850, I like that a lot. It's really just a bet that someone takes Stowers probably late round 1, and there's rumors that the Patriots are targeting a pass-catching tight end.
There you go.
And so maybe what is that, pick 31? I think that's and everyone's kind of saying picks 22 to 65. It's the same guys. So if that's a positional need for you, I can see that for sure.
Yeah. Just don't do it Philly, because that would be a little.
I think this is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles jumping the Pittsburgh Steelers to get Maxine and Nacher would be my guess.
Or if they're trying to trade.
I think that's a good call. Ian Nacher or Lomu even. Theo.
Brad, am I chopping out here?
Yes. I think we're on a delay.
Well, if the Eagles are trying to trade away A.J. Brown, maybe it's for a wide
Denzel
receiver.
Denzel Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sick. Boston in that offense would be sick.
Because Mekhi Lemon, wouldn't he be a little redundant?
To Skinny Batman, yeah. Mekhi Lemon's also just okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Casey Conception, for those who don't know, is top 10 on Brett's board. He is the top player on Brett's board. This is a little bit of a unique
They've got to get a receiver here. They've got to get maybe Boston.
Yeah.
You think it's too early? I don't think it's too early for Boston. 20?
No, not too early. Boston's my wide receiver 3. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. I like him too. I think the guy had how many drops? 2?
Yeah, he's got ridiculous hands. Inside out player, big physical, hair on fire. You want the closest thing to Puka available. It's Denzel Boston for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I like Casey. To Scott's point, I like Casey Concepcion here too.
Yeah.
He's number 8 overall on my entire board. He's the best player available by a lot. So.
I actually did mock them, Mekhi Lemon, though, even though it was a little redundant, and he is still on the board. So they've got to be getting a wide receiver here. It's got to be.
What's this mean for Simpson, now selected at 13? I think we broke this down a few times. From a fantasy perspective, you could kind of argue it both ways. Being the quarterback in a Sean McVay offense, it doesn't get much better than that. You saw that with Goff. You've seen that with Stafford. But the flip side is, it could be the Aaron Rodgers treatment. He could be waiting a while, and you own him in Dynasty, and you're waiting years. And he's just kind of rotting away at your bench.
Theo
Stafford
survives. It's Mekhi Lemon at 20 overall.
Wow.
No way.
Oh,
How
I
much
did
do
call
you hate
that.
pick on every level.
Hate it. I hate it.
I hate it, but I did call it in the podcast.
Yeah.
So hey, the Eagles do not have a good track record when it comes to drafting wide receivers outside of Devonta Smith, who is the only wide receiver to ever win a Heisman, or at least in the last.
This is
60
how we
years.
try to make good for Jalen Reagor somehow.
Right. So Brett, why didn't you tell the folks at home why you're somewhat disdainful of Mekhi Lemon as a prospect, and then how he fits into this Eagles offense?
Yeah, I'm not disdain. I think Mekhi Lemon's a very good player. I think he's a good prospect. Anytime you hear me talk negatively about him, it's just I'm going up against the hype machine that had him as a top 10 pick early in the process. I think 20 is completely acceptable for Mekhi Lemon, especially in an offense presumably that's going to play a lot of 11 personnel. They did last year. Sean Mannion, I think he's been on record saying that they're going to play 11 personnel. They're probably going to trade A.J. Brown. My issues with Mekhi Lemon as a player, one, he's pretty much a slot-only type, so he needed to land right with a team that's going to play mostly 11 personnel. I think mission accomplished there, so that's good. The other issue are there's biomechanical issues with the way he runs routes. He's really tight in the hips, a lot of wasted movement, bad footwork. He's not an actual route runner right now, very undisciplined. It's a lot of, hey, it's like improvisational type stuff. He's really stiff. He's not super athletic after the catch. Doesn't have a lot of separation bursts. He can't win vertically. He's really a grit, toughness competitor in the slot where, think about like Amon-Ra without the route running chops. That's kind of who he is. He's like super tough. He's going to get yards after catch, but out of willpower, not out of skill. And so he wasn't a top 10 pedigree to me at all. But, 20 in this offense is whatever. I can live with it.
Brett, if they go 11, Devontae, Lemon, and Wicks.
Yeah. Wicks is your X. Devontae and Lemon kind of play a Z slot hybrid. I'm sure Lemon gets reps at the Z. He's just not very good at it, but he will play there. And then Devontae, they'll flip those guys.
Dontavian Wicks, big winner. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not a big winner, but a little bit
No.
a little winner, underrated winner.
Yeah, we've argued about McKay Lemon for forever, Brett. But I mean, I like this landing spot. I mean, it's going to be a change to the guards. They'll move off of AJ Brown, and you're going to have Devonta Smith move into the wide receiver 1 role. But Devonta Smith has twice averaged 15 points per game. We've never seen a season past that. Does he get there at age 27? McKay Lemon, there's a lot to him, Brett. I know that you mentioned the
really
Amon-Ra
not
St.
a lot to
Brown
him,
stuff. Well, he just went 20th overall, and they just traded up to get him for Philly. He's going to be on the field an absolute ton. I think it's a great opportunity for him in Philly to take on a really pretty strong target share. I know that there's the volume with Jalen Hurts, the sort of the concerns there, Scott. Your thoughts on this one, Scott?
On who? McKay Lemon?
Yeah.
Yep.
In Philly. In Philly.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that need to fall into place. Yeah, I don't love the player and the prospect and the landing spot. I mean, yeah, let's say AJ Brown is out of the picture. It's still, an offense that every year ranks bottom 10 in pass attempts per game, pass rate over expectation, yards per game. AJ Brown was throwing hissy fits for a reason. And I really do think Devonta Smith is the clear alpha there. And so you have a guy who projects as slot only prospect. I wasn't as high on, Brett wasn't as high on in a, run heavy pass second offense. With right now on paper, you have Devonta Smith there, you have AJ Brown there, and you have Dallas Goedert there, and maybe all those guys stay. Like Howie Roseman is the most woke to positional value of any GM out there, and so maybe it's just you have a ton of mouths to feed, and one of the most run-heavy offenses in football, and it's a nightmare. So if we were doing a tier right now,
No. AJ Brown's going to be. You don't make this move with AJ Brown being back in Philly.
I don't know. It's Howie Rose. Like he was on the cutting edge of we need to pay Devonta Smith. We need to pay AJ Brown because teams are finally catching up to the fact that wide receiver is the second most important position in football, and all these guys are underpaid. That might just be what he's doing here. Or certainly it could be AJ Brown. I think either way, it's still not a very exciting landing spot for me.
Well, Brett, we talked about. Okay, I'll just throw it out there, Brett, to put some context into this pick that Howie Roseman just made. Akeem Mesidor is still on the board. Dylan Thieneman is still on the board. And multiple offensive tackles are still on the board. So positions that we thought Philadelphia would be into with really high-level players at that position, instead they're going McKay Lemon. McKay Lemon, I think, is going to be very good in Philly. We're going to unpack the fantasy outcome for him in the next couple of days heading into rookie drafts. But when you look at potential landing spots for Lemon, this is not one that I really factored in. But I think A.J. Brown is gone. I don't think they make this move.
Hey, well, he just got cheaper
Brown.
for the Patriots.
Well, there you go. Brett Whitefield, Pittsburgh Steelers about to pick at 21. This is going to be an offensive tackle pick. I would be shocked if it wasn't. Which way do you think they lean?
I don't actually know. I mean, I'm assuming that's who Eagles wanted to get in front of. I mocked McKay Lemon to Pittsburgh several times in the process as well. So
Omar Cooper Jr. would also sort of fit that bill if they were going to go wide receiver.
better than McKay Lemon, yeah.
Well, we'd have a chance to compare them head to head if they go back to back, and then this one, Concepcion as well.
Yeah, Concepcion.
I think Maxie and Nacher would be was who I projected for them, the offensive tackle out of Arizona State. But I don't know. It feels like this could be the wide receiver one. Could we get wide receiver off the board here? Cleveland also picking at 24 is also going to be in the market for a wideout. We've also got the Dallas Cowboys at 23. Just to recap our last few picks, Jets took Kenyon, Sadiq, Blake Miller to the Detroit Lions. Minnesota Vikings took Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. The Carolina Panthers select Monroe Freeling, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. And then McKay Lemon, the wide receiver out of USC. Philadelphia trades up and selects him. Pittsburgh Steelers, we're waiting for it. We're going to interrupt as soon as we get it. Let's talk about Dylan Thieneman. Where do you think he ends up, Brett? Because there's been maybe some linking. It's certainly not going to be Dallas after the Caleb Downs one, but that would have made some sense. Where does Thieneman end up in these next few picks?
Gosh, let me look at the board here. Possibly,
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago really could use a guy like that.
Great call, John. Great call, John.
Yep. Their whole secondary, back end especially, got gutted in free agency. Buffalo could use him. Buffalo, we know they like their hybrid, secondary players.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean,
so
Chargers could use him. Honestly, all the teams left are pretty much in play for him, I think.
Yeah, so we've got a number of wide receivers we're keeping our eye on from a fantasy perspective. We're looking at Akeem Mesidor. We're looking at Malachi Lawrence, the riser edge rusher from Central Florida. We're looking at Caden McDonald. We're looking at Peter Woods, the defensive tackles out of Ohio State and Clemson. There's a number of players we think are going to go off the board before the end of round one, and we're starting to line it up. Scott, your thoughts here on these wide receivers? Is there sort of and I'll interrupt it. I said it before, Maxine Nacher, the left tackle out of Arizona State. So 2 Arizona State Sun Devils go in round one. Really, really strong stuff from them. Ione Nacher has been a riser throughout the process. Basketball background, hasn't been playing football for that long. We're going to get Brett Whitefield breaking down Maxine Nacher, but when you talk about
you don't want me to do that?
Well, it's got
his hand placement technique.
It's a little too technical for the average viewer when Scott starts breaking it down. We got to have Brett coming in here, but Maxine Nacher was a riser throughout the process. So another player where we lined up a couple of these picks, and Ione Nacher was a player that Brett and I have kind of linked towards Pittsburgh for the last couple of weeks, and they end up pulling the trigger there. So Mike McCarthy gets an offensive lineman. Is this a Aaron Rodgers is back this year kind of vibes, John? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, the Broderick Jones injury situation, right, probably forced that pick. And, the Steelers have been trying to rework this O-line for about a decade. And they really, I would say they can't get it right because it's not bad, but it's not good considering the assets. Now, how many number one picks do we now have on this O-line? At least 2, maybe 3, right?
Yeah, they've embraced the offensive line in the last few drafts. So I think this is it's a strong pick. Yeah.
Probably does single. They're probably doing this to protect the old man. Let's be honest.
You need to. You absolutely. And that's priority number one. I like the receivers they got. Pittman, I think, was like a great addition. And yeah, I mean, I think there's a glimmer of hope if you could keep Rodgers healthy. Just the football IQ he has. I don't know.
Bad news in the NBA streets. My Knicks go down by 1 point to the Atlanta Hawks tonight. So just for the NBA fans watching right now, really tough one. I missed that one, but
are you a Mets fan too? Have they won a game in the past 2 months?
Are you a Mets fan?
Not so good with it. No, I'm pretty neutral on the baseball situation. We live on Long Island, so we go to the Mets a little more often than the Yankees, but I'm pretty neutral. But we love the Knicks in this household. We love St. John's, and my son watches every Knicks game. So he came in here and told me during the break off screen he's heartbroken about the Knicks game. So I'll make sure and watch the highlights in the morning. We got the Chargers on the board here. This is an interesting pick here. I think Vega Ione would have been a consideration. There's also Dylan Thieneman, Brett mentioned. The wild card pick here is our guy, Casey Concepcion. They had him in for a top 30 visit. John, your vibes here with Mike McDaniel. I've talked to Scott about it 100 times. But Mike McDaniel, everything feels right about this offense right now with the vibes this offseason. What are your thoughts?
No, I like it. I mean, it feels like him and Harbaugh, it's either going to be the greatest combo of a couple of oddballs, and I say that lovingly, or it may not go well. But my gut feeling was that it will go well. I'm trying to see who I had them taking, because when you look at the offense, maybe interior of the offensive line, I had them taking I believe Brennan Thompson, because that's the one thing in a later round, round 4.
You just sent shockwaves through the draft community. Like the Brennan Thompson one. You got to clarify the later on first. Yeah, a little harder, John.
So what I did was I made a skill player pick for all 32 teams, regardless of the round. So I had a bunch of 3rd, 4th rounders. But I mean, when I looked at the roster, I mean, they've got length with Quentin Johnson. They're good at tight end with Kohler, who's a good blocker and a very good receiver. I love Charlie Kohler. guy I interviewed, fascinating guy. Both of his parents were college professors, and here he is in the trenches in the NFL. And then Aranda Gadsden, a glorified slot receiver. Trey Harris, I think, can be like a movable chess piece type of a guy. McConkey inside often. They've got a lot. But the one thing that they are a little lacking is speed, but I don't think they're going to address it here, but later on in the draft.
Well, I am rooting for a KC Concepcion pick, but I think it's going to be Peter Woods, the defensive tackle out of Clemson, or Dylan Thieneman now that he's fallen. Akeem Mesidor could also be in play. Let's get Brett Whitefield back on screen here and have him break down the Maxie and Nacher selection. Brett, we talked about Maxie and Nacher to Pittsburgh. Your quick thoughts on him in terms of the background, the tools, Nigerian basketball background, hasn't been playing football for that long. It's a really fun story, and he ends up going off the board at 21. He's just been rising up over the last couple months. Your quick thoughts on Ione Nacher?
Yeah, literally didn't start playing football till junior college. Did not go to junior college to play football. Went to play basketball and then got found and started playing football. So the fact that he's been able to add to his frame so quickly while maintaining a certain level of technical growth is insane. I think he's got 5 position upside. I think he could start at center. I think he could start at left guard, right guard, or either tackle spot. Like, this is a great pick. For the Steelers who have some issues, Broderick Jones did not get a good medical report this week, and I think maybe they're looking for a safety play there. If Broderick Jones ends up getting healthy, maybe Ione Nacher plays a guard spot for them. So this is it's a fantastic, but he's a really good player. It's a total upside swing. I think obviously the best is yet to come, considering he's only been playing football for 3 years.
And your gut feel of which way the LA Chargers go here with the 22nd overall pick. We had John sort of talking about the buddy cop vibes from Harbaugh and McDaniel coexisting in LA, could end up winning a ton of games here. Your thoughts here on which way they go with this pick, with a couple of really fun players still on the board.
Yeah, they really need an edge rusher. I think that's first and foremost. The pick
is in, and they just got one of your favorite pass rushers in the entire draft. Akeem Mesidor goes off the board to the Chargers. Brett, you've been singing the praises of Akeem Mesidor. I remember riding around in a car with you in Mobile, and you talking about Mesidor and his pathway from being a defensive tackle, losing all this weight, becoming an edge rusher. But there's teams in the NFL who believe he's the best pass rusher, interior presence. So I could see him playing a little D tackle as well as the edge for LA. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he's got the chops. I mean, the pathway's incredible. Converted nose tackle, kind of trimmed a little bit off his profile every year for the last 6 years to now he's a sub 260-pound edge rusher. It's kind of a wild journey. And it's why I think teams are willing to excuse the fact that he's 25 years old already. So, but the technical proficiency is insane. I think his tape in 2025 was the best edge rusher tape in the class. It's just that he was 25 years old. And I think it's really hard for teams to juxtapose, is this guy just beating up small children as a 25-year-old man, or is he actually that good? And obviously, I think the pick here at 22 is a ringing endorsement of him as a player. But he's got speed, power, technical chops. He's got a little bend to him as well for a bigger guy. He's long. He's got length. I think this is a win. Khalil Mack is ancient, right? He's old as dirt. They're going to have to move off him at some point, and so I think this would be a really nice pair with Thule on the other side there for the Chargers.
Hey, how many O tackles did you have going in the draft, Brett? We got 6 down already.
Say that again, John. I missed that.
How many O tackles did you have going in round 1?
I believe 1 million.
Yeah, because we got 6 already.
All of them. All of it.
Yeah, the only one that hasn't gone that I have still going is Caleb Lomu. So.
Yeah, Caleb Lomu, also out of Utah. We talked about him a little earlier today, Brett. We anticipate he's going to hear his name called, I think, somewhere towards the tail end. I had him going to the New England Patriots. You had him going a little earlier. Go ahead, Brett.
Check this comment out. We got a $20 super chat from John. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. Brett is the best in the business and started listening to Sleep Token after he talked him up on first read. Let's go. Best band on the planet.
Yeah, no, best band you put me onto is Leprous.
Leprous also top 5 of all time, for sure.
So if you like Sleep Token, check out Leprous.
I have no idea what you guys are even talking about.
I'm not a metal guy, but Brett put me onto them. Hey, can we go back to the tiers list, Theo?
Yeah, but let's talk. I just want, before we go to the tiers list, I want to get Brett's prediction for what Dallas does here. They trade down a couple picks. They're at 23 overall. Akeem Mesidor would have been a great pick for them. Your thoughts? Could this be a Malachi Lawrence selection?
Could be. I'll take a wild guess. I'll go Denzel Boston just for funsies.
Yeah,
Just
because
for-
George Pickens situation.
Over Concepcion,
I think
who you have top 10, Brett?
Yeah, I mean, just because the Pickens Boston overlap is the only reason for that. Yeah,
What's the overlap? Just play style?
6'4", ball skills, route
Red
running,
zone
elite.
efficiency.
Yeah, red zone efficiency. Yep, all that.
Yeah, I
Thinking-
think this is going to be Malachi Lawrence, which is the riser out of Central Florida. We saw Ian Nacher. I'm going to sort of follow the steam here. Gosh, if they could have done things over again, Dylan Thieneman's still on the board. Let's do quick tiers, guys, and I'll interrupt it if we get another pick. A big shout out to the live audience. Make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're checking out all of our podcasts. Go to fantasypoints.com. Check out the podcast page. You're going to find John Hanson's podcasts, Scott Barrett's, Brett Whitefield's, and myself. No company is putting out better fantasy content on the podcast side than Fantasy Points. We're absolutely crushing it, and we're going to do it all off season long.
Hey,
And
this might
if
be
you
the
want to,
cheap. This might be the best discount we offer until after your fantasy draft. So really recommend you taking advantage of it now. This offer is good only right now until Mr. Irrelevant hears his name called. So you gotta act fast on this.
so when Eli Heidenreich is the last pick in the NFL draft, Scott's going to be so excited.
The
that
last pick
the
on
sale
day
ends.
2, maybe.
Last pick on day 2. Yeah, that we're going to follow Eli Heidenreich and more of Scott Barrett's favorite day 2 prospects when we're back tomorrow evening. Brett, Scott, and I are going to be breaking it down all of day 2. John as well. John, let's go through it, guys. Let's go with Akeem Mesidor since it was the most recent. Let's give it a grade here. Brett, I mean, this has got to be up towards the S. You're chasing a Super Bowl. You're chasing an AFC championship, and you add a 25-year-old plug-and-play, ready-to-go guy who can get double-digit sacks.
I'll say A tier.
Okay, so we'll go A tier. We're going to go back to the Max Ianacho one. I'm going to say B or A.
B
It's
tier.
a really
B
good
tier.
pick. B tier. Let's go B tier.
Similar to Blake Miller there. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to go McKay Lemon. I'm going to stump for this one. Trey, I get one mulligan where I can overrule the rest of the guys. Just one. I'm going to go McKay Lemon A tier for the haters out there. Just give me one here, Trey. McKay Lemon and the A tier. Let's go with the Monroe Freeling.
Don't do it.
Do it, Trey. Trey,
C
just
or
one.
D. C or
Just
D.
one. No, Trey, come on. Give me one, Trey. Give me one, Trey. Just one. Just one.
They can't all be A's. Certainly not this awful. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys.
Oh,
This is Theo
let's
Greminger
go.
does not co-sign on this one. That is a Scott,
go.
Brett, and John one. That's not me. Let's go the Monroe Freeling pick by Carolina Panthers.
A. No, we'll go B.
Guys, let me interrupt it because I
best.
just nailed another pick. I didn't nail it in my mock draft, but Malachi Lawrence, edge rusher, Central Florida, is a Dallas Cowboy. Malachi Lawrence goes off the board ahead of TJ Parker, one pick behind Akeem Mesidor. He's been rising up throughout the process. Brett, I had him going in the first round. I know you did as well. So we've been sort of following the steam. But this is a player that people are sort of split on. But, I mean, when you look at tools, Lawrence could really end up becoming a good pass rusher in this league.
Yeah. Awesome tools. Speed rusher with bend. Just some technicality to him. Not a ton of nuance to his game. It's pretty straightforward. He's going to come fast. He's got a little bend. He's got a cross chop, a swipe, and that's about it. But he's good at winning that corner and flattening the quarterback. I will say this, though, that the resume is a little suspicious. He didn't have a single pass rush win on a player I had ranked inside the top 200 this year, and no good tackles that project for next year either. So very flimsy track record here for Malachi Lawrence in the breakout season that he had this year. It's not a massive red flag. It's not that uncommon for college players to never run into great tackles, but it does lead to the fact that a transition to the NFL is going to be relatively difficult for him, especially playing in that conference, that division. So
Can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of have confidence in the Cowboys and their scouting department.
Just an update for the people that follow these things like the Huddle Report. Right now, it's a Todd McShay and Theo Greminger tied at the top of the Huddle Report. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. We got
No
a couple
way.
more
Really?
picks to go, but I got a text from Alex Dunlap and Cody Carpentier. I had Maxie and Nacho
No
going to
way.
Pittsburgh. I had Monroe Freeling going to Carolina. So I've had a
Bro,
couple
and
of these direct hits.
You were working your ass off last night on this mock. You were sweating it like crazy.
Shout out. I kind of broke down to Scott. It's been a lack of sleep in the Greminger household the last couple of nights. A ton of respect to Brett Whitefield, who's put together these big boards for years. I attempted it this year, and I think I did pretty well. But Brett, it killed me. It killed me to put together the top 100, trying to predict these top 100 picks. But the mock draft, I talked to Scott last night. A shout out to our wonderful editor, Joe Dolan, for turning in something to him at like 11:30 at night. Oh, and we just had a great pick, guys. Our guy, Casey Concepcion, off the board, 24 overall to the Cleveland Browns.
That was in my mock draft on the podcast.
And listen, guys, I mean, at the end of the day, Casey's an electric talent, and now he lands on a team where he's the wide receiver one. Wow. Sorry, anybody's still believing in Jerry Jeudy, but
is there a little Jerry Jeudy to his game even?
Yeah.
Brett?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I think so.
Maybe who we wanted Jerry Jeudy to be coming out?
Jerry Jeudy gets a bad rap. He's never played with a single good quarterback in his entire career. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's true.
Casey can.
What about Shedeur Sanders? He was a Pro Bowler as a rookie.
Let's not talk Jerry Jeudy. Let's talk Casey Concepcion, because Brett Whitefield, you've been like, I remember the first conversation, and John and Scott, I think I've said this on a couple of podcasts, where Casey Concepcion was sort of like a guy that I loved during the college football season. And if anybody who's followed his career, was unbelievable as a freshman at NC State, ends up transferring over to Texas A&M, was sort of the focal point of an offense, sort of poor quarterback play, but electric talent, had some drops, but just was amazing. And I was like, Brett, this dude is Zay Flowers part 2. And then Brett's like, okay, I'm going to go watch the tape. And then Brett calls me up and he's like, Theo, you're wrong. He's way, way, way better than Zay Flowers.
Yes.
So, I mean, like, and so Brett like starts
Devontae
throwing out some big, go ahead, Brett. Cook.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out my boy John Costco over at PFF Enterprise /Teamworks. He called me this morning. What should the Browns do in the draft? I said Spencer Fano and Casey Concepcion. That was my literal answer. That's exactly what the Browns did. So pretty pumped about that for John. And he's pretty pumped as well. He's texting me right now. But yeah, Casey, I mean, guys, I'm going to steal a term from John Hansen. He's a separatist. The best route runner in the class, the best run after catch player in the class, bar none. He's got body control. You know, the one thing you're a little suspicious on is the analytical profile. He played with egregious quarterback play, though, both at NC State and Texas A&M. Yep. Watching his Texas A&M tape is literally, it's taxing on the body because of how bad Marcel Reed is. I mean, it is unbelievable how bad that quarterback is. Could not find Casey to save his life. So the fact that he produced as much as he did this year, I thought was a miracle in of itself. But Casey's incredible, man. I mean, just an absolute baller, true separator. I suspect he's going to lead or be a top 10 ass guy for most of his career here.
Well, let's hold
Is he
on.
the
Let's
most
clarify
dynamic
that
receiver in the class?
Let's clarify. Before, John, you talk KC, let's clarify, because we have a lot of new viewers. Brett's not referring to his ass. Brett's not commenting on Casey Concepcion's ass. He's saying his average separation score, which is one of the powerful metrics that you can find over at Fantasy Points Data. Ditch your PFF subscription if you want to win in fantasy this year. Maybe you've had a PFF subscription for a number of years and you don't want to take the time to do it. We're all over at Fantasy Points. We're ball knowers. Over there, not a whole lot of ball knowers, and you're going to get better access to better analytics and better data over at Fantasy Points for less money, especially with our flash sale. So check out Fantasy Points Data. Awesome, awesome stuff over there. John, your thoughts on this Casey Concepcion landing spot and the opportunity for him in Cleveland with Jerry Jones as the presumed wide receiver one and Todd Monken, who I think gets a little bit of a bad rap for this hire. I think Todd Monken, if he was younger, would get a lot more. There'd be a lot more love in the fantasy community about the hire if Todd Monken was 20 years younger.
Well, I kind of wrote him up before the prospect guide came out, so I had my own like notes. I was like twitchy, explosive, sudden, good catching the ball, big playability. Like, Jerry Jeudy is not that dynamic. I mean, I've always liked Jerry Jeudy, but I think he's less twitchy than Concepcion. So I think he steps right in to a very large role. I could see Harold Fannin and then Concepcion being almost next on the pecking order. But Fannin, Concepcion, and Judy. So yeah, I like the pick. That was in my mock that I did 2 weeks ago, where I picked a skill player for every team, and that was my pick for the Browns. With the second pick of round 2 was Concepcion. So happy to get that right.
Yeah, and now we've got Chicago on the board here. John, we talked
can I
about some of
chime
those.
in on Casey Concepcion?
Well, we're going to kick it back to Scott because it's an important player for dynasty managers and fantasy managers to hear Scott's thoughts on. We're going to workshop that Scott's thoughts thing. Any Office fans out there, get the T-shirts ready. But the Chicago Bears here, they are sitting on the clock, and Dylan Thieneman is there for them if they want to take him. I thought this could have been a Malachi Lawrence landing spot. I'll think T.J. Parker from Clemson would make a lot of sense. And then, Brett, there's one offensive tackle left, Caleb Lomu, if they want to go with an OT. Which way do you think Chicago goes with this pick?
They should go D tackle. Caden McDonald would be my pick.
Caden
here.
McDonald.
McDonald or Woods. I think McDonald for what they want to do with those multiple guys. Gervon Dexter can play nose 3-tech. Caden McDonald can kind of do the same thing. The biggest issue with McDonald is, if he goes in the first round, he'll have the fewest snaps played for a first-round defensive player ever. So,
John, you talked about Caden McDonald to your Minnesota Vikings. Is that the player you would go with here with Chicago? They've done a lot to address the offense. Ben Johnson, year 2, we're very bullish about which way that offense could go. Colston Loveland, otherworldly tight end. Swift and Monangai both combined well last year. You got Luther Burden, you got Roma Dunze, and of course Caleb Williams. They've also much improved the offensive line. What way would you go here when looking at Chicago?
If I were looking for a future prospect and a guy who could probably complete the deal, I might go Thieneman here. But otherwise, I would go with Brett just because. But like Grady Jarrett, guys like that, maybe you can get by one more year with them. But certainly a long-term guy there, plugging up the middle of the D line. I'm not going to argue against that. But I don't know. I don't think they have anything at safety right now currently.
Yeah, safety would make sense. That it's Dylan Thieneman. I didn't think would still be on the board here at 25, but Brett, I think a lesson learned for everyone from an NFL perspective is Caleb Downs was this otherworldly safety prospect. He goes at 12 and not 5 like maybe we thought. And I know there were some people saying he could go as high as 2 when people started mock drafting. He goes 12, and then Dylan Thieneman falls to 25. At the end of the day, the NFL just doesn't value the safety position maybe as much as they should. Is that a takeaway for you from watching this draft and the way it's unfolding?
For sure, yeah. I mean, I had an issue projecting 3 safeties in the first round.
The pick is in. Sorry, Brett. Speaking of
Yeah,
safeties, I should have asked you this in like 30 seconds. Dylan Thieneman is the pick for the Chicago Bears at 25. Impact player for them. Brett, I would argue that this is going to be as impactful a pick for their defense as Colston Loveland was for their offense. What would you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, very needed player for sure. Like I said earlier, their safety room got gutted. Their cornerback room took some hits in free agency, so they needed to replenish the cupboard for sure.
Scott Barrett, let's go back to you for your KC Concepcion take. It better be a fun one, please, for the Dynasty managers listening, please.
So I've been shitting all over these rookie landing spots, and I have to say Chris Wecht projections is totally on board with me. This is Chris Wecht, who led our projections last year. We had the best projections in the industry in DFS. We beat out Establish the Run. We beat out Stochastic. We beat out everyone. If you want the best projections in the industry, subscribe to fantasypoints.com. And he's with me. He's shit all over all these landing spots. He thinks the Jeremiah Love landing spot is overrated. But this landing spot, I gave McKay Lemon a D. This landing spot is an A. I love this landing spot. It's awesome.
It's amazing.
Rich man Zay Flowers is the perfect comp. He's now Todd Monken's wide receiver 1. And what do we know about Zay Flowers? What do we know about Todd Monken is he's going to get a shit ton of screens. He's going to get a ton of volume. PPR cheat code upside for a player who profiles like that. I'm an analytics guy, but no wide receiver wowed me and moved different on film than KC Concepcion. So I'm really excited. This was Brett's guy, and now I'm fully aligned.
Yeah, I think Casey Concepcion, I think you have to be thrilled about this spot. We've talked about what way Dynasty rookie drafts are going to shake out. I think at the end of the day, the top 6, top 7 is pretty clear. Sadiq, especially if we're talking about FFPC tight end premium type scoring, Sadiq takes a little bit of a hit, but Casey Concepcion clearly is where he should be. Brett, we're going to be podcasting for a long time with Derek Brown of Fantasy Pros, another big Casey Concepcion fan. He's going to be joining the stream. We also have Andrew Cooper of Fantasy Alarm joining our stream tomorrow night. Joe Dolan is going to open things up in round 2. I mean, we're just loaded with fantasy football minds here and ball knowers in this stream. This is my second year doing it with you guys, and it's just so energizing to work with this company, especially when we have an event like the NFL Draft. So big shout out to everybody associated with Fantasy Points. We're just crushing it here. A big shout out to all the people who have been supporting this live stream. Make sure you go and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Doesn't cost you anything, helps us out a lot. And we're dropping a ton of free content on the media side that can help you crush things in your fantasy league. And if you're interested in a sub, go check out fantasypoints.com. Let's talk about this next pick. Buffalo Bills. I hit up
they just traded out, Theo.
Well, what's the trade, Brett?
So the Texans give up 26 and 91, and the Bills slide back to 28, but they move up to – hold on, texts are coming in. They get 69 back. So the Bills move up. What is that, 32 spots to move back to?
If I'm unpacking this one, Brett, the way that I'm looking at this is the Houston Texans leapfrog the 49ers.
Yeah.
The 49ers, when you look at what they needed here, it's probably for Caleb Lomu, the offensive tackle, or it's TJ Parker, the edge rusher, would be my guess.
Why do they need an edge rusher?
But you never have enough edge rushers.
I mean, they have two extremely high investments.
They have 2 all-worldly ones. They have Will Anderson, who they paid, and they have Daniel Hunter, who's a stud.
Should be a receiver, in my opinion. But
okay, well, could be a wide receiver. And then if we're going to unpack it here, there was teams calling about Nico Collins. That was leaked. I think that was not even leaked. I think that was a Jordan Schultz report.
That trade is absurd. What are the Texans doing? I never know what the Texans are doing, to be honest with you.
What about O-line?
I don't think they know what they're doing.
Well, I don't know, but I think Texans, I mean, Brett, if you look at pure talent for a roster, Houston's right there. So this is a push the chips in move for them to move up and get this. This is some player that they had to jump San Francisco for. So who's the player that they had to jump San Francisco for?
I mean, it's probably Lomu or maybe a receiver. I don't know.
I think it's going to be Lomu because he's the last. I mean, the drop off.
What about
just
Caden
for anybody
McDonald?
watching? Caden McDonald could be it too.
Yeah, what about that?
Brett,
It should be O-line.
The drop between. Yeah, I mean, you go back to that Patriots game.
It's Keelan Rutledge, Georgia Tech guard.
Okay, so Keelan Rutledge, Brett, we talked about this on the 2026 NFL Draft Pod. Like, this is surprising, but we've heard guys like Chase Bastantis, Keelan Rutledge as fringe first-round picks. Keelan Rutledge, I mean, Brett, you talked about him. If you had to pick a guy from this draft class to go win a fight in an alley with, and you had to pick one dude, Keelan Rutledge is an absolute mauler, an absolute killer at guard, like in terms of the physicality he brings to the position. And, John, you just said they need to get an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So it kind of lines up. Brett, break down your thoughts on Keelan Rutledge.
I mean, this is by far the biggest reach of the first round. 79th overall on my big board. There's a lot there I didn't like. I know he had a great Senior Bowl and the All-Star game process, gassed him up quite a bit. But, man, the tape was really inconsistent. I don't know, man. I never know what the Houston Texans are doing. So
let's fresh tier it. Let's go back to our tier list and let's do. Oh wait, we have another pick. Actually, never mind. Apologies, guys. It was just the Rutledge updating. So let's go back and tier it. You get the Rutledge one here, Brett.
We gotta get D-Bro in here. We gotta say goodbye to John. John, thanks for coming on and making the time.
All right, you got it.
John, we'll see you tomorrow night, though, right?
Oh hell yeah! Where am I going?
Absolutely. Yeah, John, thanks for stopping in. John, you absolutely crushed it. And your Minnesota Vikings also made a pick that you liked. So good night for you.
Absolutely. You got it. So props are looking good right now. If we get Stowers in the first round, then it's like a slam dunk. So root for that. Later.
Yeah, Scott
Thanks,
Barrett will
Sean.
be rooting for that.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
get our boy Derek Brown, a.k.a. D-Bro, in
Boys!
the chat here. Let's
Holy
first,
crap.
D-Bro,
Hey.
D-Bro, I got to get your thoughts on Casey Concepcion. Before we do that, we're going to do our tier list here. Let's do the Dylan Thieneman pick for Chicago. I think that's got to be an S tier, Brett, for them to get that safety
No,
at
it's not an S tier.
25
Come on.
overall.
You were the most
Thieneman-
lenient grader.
It's at least got to be an A, right, Brett? Come on.
Okay, so
No, I'll
put
call it a
Thieneman.
B. I'll call it a B.
Oh,
You
Really?
set Thieneman in the B. That's a
It's a
hater
good knock.
score.
He's a safety. The impact is not.
so?
This isn't Caleb Downs we're talking about,
Okay.
guys. I mean, come on.
Okay, so then
Okay, but
get
the
your
ball
Rutledge
production,
one. You
Brett.
want to give Rutledge a D. I know you do.
Yeah, Rutledge is
Oh,
a D
you
for
need an
sure.
F for him. That was a
Yeah,
horrible pick.
we do need an F for
Okay,
him.
well, we do not. The F tier does not exist. The D is essentially the F because
Can
the
we get a
S is
G
there.
tier, an H tier, an I, an A J, or whatever the hell else
Yeah.
tier? Like
Then
that was
let's-
horrible.
Let's let since Debro just joined our chat, and shout out
Sorry.
to Debro, Derek Brown. You crush it over at Fantasy Pros. We podcasted a million times. You're our boy. Debro's going to be with us for the whole third round tomorrow too. So you're going to get Debro not only tonight but tomorrow night. Who's giving you better fantasy football coverage in the NFL draft than fantasy points? Nobody is. Debro, I'm going to let you grade the Malachi Lawrence one. Break it down for us, and you're going to give it the tier here.
Hey, but before you do, I'm sorry to cut you off, D-Bro. I
No,
just
go
wanted
ahead,
to
go ahead.
answer a super chat. I got this question a few times from a few different people. Is Casey now my wide receiver one in rookie drafts?
No.
I think probably not. I need to give that a little bit more thought. Probably not. But is he my redraft wide receiver one? I'd say probably. But be on the lookout for my post-draft top 50 rankings. Should be dropping Monday. I need to watch every single post-draft press conference, bang out those podcasts on School of Scott with Coach Speak Index, Greg Branos, and then I can. Yeah, I need some time. Need to let it marinate and whatnot. But yeah, sorry, D-Bro, for jumping in. Wanted to hit that.
Oh, you're
super
good,
chat.
Bubba. You're good. I mean,
Casey
I was giving
Casey
Brett the business as soon as I got in here. You know what I mean?
KCC is not going to be
Well,
the
if
wide receiver one for you. In Dynasty, guys. We're going to break it down as well. Scott, I
Brett,
can't.
is he
I
your
can't
wide
wait.
receiver one in this landing?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk it through. D-Bro, you're going to grade the Malachi Lawrence one on the tier list.
I think I'm between A and B. You can give me either one of those. I'll put him as a B. I mean,
Okay.
Dallas, there was a definite need. You know, Brett can talk the tape about Lawrence a lot better than I can. I think he's a wonderful fit for the system they're going to go to, and the upside swing. I mean, this is an upside swing for me.
And then the McKay Lemon one, I was overruled. I tried to have him be higher. He's in the D tier. I mean, it just sickens me.
That's
see
just
that
a
one
weird
here on our
fit,
stream.
dude. The lemon one is a weird one for me. Like, are
It's
they?
so weird.
It's like, I mean, I'd say like the crappiest pick probably so far has been Kenyon Sadiq. Like, what? I'm sorry, Brett. Like, I know you love AG, but what the hell are we doing here?
Right.
Like
No,
lighting a
it's
second
terrible.
round pick last year on fire. Like they just had an audible brain fart live for the whole world to see. But you know, with I think a lot of teams are definitely showing their cards of who is smart and who is not here.
Well, we've got a number. Let's go back to our board here because I think we're update. Are we updated with the tier list? Let us know in Trey Camberling if we have anybody else we need to grade here. I will look at our chat. We've got some fantasy relevant players still on the board here. Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper. We're looking to see those guys go in the next few selections. I'll throw out the Jadarian Price rumors have been there with Seattle at 32. I think that would sort of melt faces, namely Scott's. I want to see Scott capitulate if we get his name called at 32
You don't
overall.
wanna
I think
see
that would
the
be an
melt.
amazing
I think Theo's holding on to priors here, just hoping, but we'll see.
I am. I wouldn't bet. I wouldn't bet on it, guys. But
we have a trade and a pick.
okay,
the
so
Dolphin-
break it
the
down.
Dolphins
okay, the
move-
Miami Dolphins. Yeah.
Yeah. The Miami Dolphins move up to 27
Okay.
to take cornerback Chris Johnson with from San Diego State.
Well, let's talk about
Johnson's
Chris
a
Johnson
very
real
good player.
quick because
Yeah.
yeah, and Chris Johnson, Brett, we'll get your thoughts. We'll also get Debro's thoughts. Chris Johnson's been another riser. So we've seen Malachi Lawrence, we've seen Maxine Nacher, and we've seen Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson goes to the Senior Bowl, not like crushing it, but again goes to the Combine and rips it to shreds. If you look at the RAS score for Chris Johnson, he's through the roof. Brett, he also has physicality and size at the position where there's some NFL teams that think he could play safety. So Miami addresses the cornerback position. Your thoughts on Chris Johnson and the impact he brings for that secondary, who really needed a corner?
Yes, sticky man cover corner. I mean, he's really good at man. He's got instincts to play some off zone as well with his eyes on the quarterback. What I really love about him is his ability to take away and shrink and squeeze routes at the top of the stem. It's really, really nice work. My biggest issue, small school guy, play strength was an issue all over the tape. He gets bodied by bigger receivers. He was dominant at the Senior Bowl outside of having to go against bigger guys. So I think a year in an NFL weight room strength and conditioning program will be just what he needs to be awesome. I wrote him up as a fringe first-round pick. I thought there was a chance he could go here. Earlier today, I was talking in the charter chat about Chris Johnson. Zane Dahani, one of our guys, is very high on him. I agree that this is a really good player. Makes sense that he comes off as CB2 with, the cloudiness around Jermod McCoy's knee here. So.
And
Hey,
Debra,
we
let's
got
start
another
with that.
super chat, so I just want to hit it. $10 from John Snyder. Yeah, go
We're
ahead.
gonna get. Let me get to John's right after we get Debro, because we're gonna get to your question, John. I think it's a great question. But Debro, your thoughts on the Jermod McCoy fall? There's all these spots he could have landed in, and now Chris Johnson. Your thoughts on the fit for him in Miami?
I mean, I think Brett laid it out very nicely here with Jamar McCoy falling. I mean, this is just previous to what we saw with Will Johnson and other cornerbacks like Booth from previous years, like where the knee concern is real. So I know, Brett, you didn't have McCoy in your first round or your final mock. I didn't either. I am kind of surprised. Brett, are you kind of surprised Chris Johnson goes over Colton Hood, though?
I
that a
would
surprise to
personally
you
would
or
take
not?
Chris. No, I would take Chris Johnson over.
Okay.
I was Hood ahead of him. I was Hood ahead of him, but I think we see Hood. I think Hood probably still sneaks in the first round here. Just my gut feel. But he's not going to go to KC because they already addressed it. So Seattle at 32, I think, is probably the best bet if they stick and pick to take Colton Hood. New England at 31 could be a landing spot for our Omar Cooper, our Denzel Boston hopes. 49ers at 30 could also be a Denzel Boston landing spot. So we'll keep an eye on that one. John Snyder asked a question. Let's just go around and let's. Stowers would melt faces here. We're wish casting
I think
Stowers.
it's so
we're wish
much
casting
less of a
Jadarian
shock
Price.
than Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price is like 0.1%.
Well,
Stowers is like 7%.
I think both of them would be a
not
shock,
according,
to be honest.
not according to betting
All right,
markets.
Stowers is going 31.
Okay, so Scott's rooting
We'll
for
see.
Stowers. I'm rooting for Jadarian Price. Let's go around the horn. I'll start out. How are we ranking these wide receivers for Dynasty? And again, we'll unpack it tonight. But John, I would go Carnell Tate at 1. I would go Jordan Tyson at 2. And I'm going to flip KC Concepcion over Mekhi Lemon, but I'm still very bullish on Mekhi Lemon. My takeaway is your 105 became really I would say your 106 became more valuable tonight with these landing spots in this draft capital. Which way would you rank it, Debro? And then we'll kick it to you, Scott.
Still Tate 1, KC's number 2.
Ooh. What was it pre-draft?
Casey was 2.
Oh,
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah, Brett and I were riding in concert with our top 3 wide receivers. We both had Tate, KC, and Boston. And if Boston goes, I mean, he could be in play here. I'm still lower on Tyson. Like, I think, like,
wait, let's push up. Let's push back on that.
Mm-hmm.
Debro, your thoughts? Like, break down even with Tyson going 8 overall, you don't want to move him up a little.
I mean, I'm here for it, but the other thing about it is the questions about him as a player, and the other thing we could also say too is, okay, how did we feel about how did Kellen Moore do a great job deploying QJ previously when he was with the Chargers? How'd that go?
That's a really good question, Derek.
I mean, I'm being serious. Like, what role was Tyson going to play? Like, is Olave going to do a lot of the different things? I would hate to see the Tyson running clear outs every single week like they did QJ. I mean, it's a real concern though. Like,
they're gonna spam dagger concepts with Tyson running the clear,
and Tyson's going to run, and then Olave is going to eat.
Yeah.
Well, the Chris Sims take is that.
Oh God!
Tyson
Okay, guys.
is
So we
gonna
have
be
another. Guys,
PPR
we have the
cheat
pick is
code,
in.
and Olave is just a deep threat now.
Guys, the pick is in.
Who is
Guys, the pick is in.
I'm looking.
The New England Patriots have traded up to 28 overall, and they have drafted Caleb Lomu, which is another big hit for the Greminger mock draft, which is challenging in the Huddle Report right now. we'll see how it shakes out for the rest of it. But Caleb Lomu,
Where did you
this
finish
is the
last
second
year,
year in a row
Theo?
the New England Patriots. I think it was
In the
eighth.
huddle.
Eighth.
Yeah, that's incredible.
way to go,
Yeah,
baby.
How many people?
Yeah.
Did
I
you
don't
do
know.
it the year
There's a lot of
before?
them. I'm not sure. I did it the year before. I did okay when I was at that other company. But since I've gone to Fantasy Points, I've ran so pure
But
because
isn't
of all
there
the
a
ball
prize
knowers
for best
that I
over a
talk to on a
3-year
daily
period?
basis.
Isn't there a prize for best over a 3-year
Yeah,
period?
it's a
Maybe in the
5-year
running?
period.
Oh, okay.
5-year period. I won't have that one. But over the last 2 years, I think I'll be the best over the last 2 years potentially.
Yeah,
But
kidding.
Brett Whitefield, I want you to break down the Caleb Lomu, because we saw Will Campbell taken last year. They took Will Campbell in the top 10 picks, and of course we talked about versatility for him, but kind of exposed. Could this end up being? I know you're not a huge Caleb Lomu fan, but could this be a pick where it could end up moving Will Campbell inside eventually?
Yeah, I mean, Will Campbell's best position is center. He should be playing center. So, I mean, Lomu, like, he's an extremely weak player, no play strength to his game. So, like, it's going to take a little time. I would imagine this doesn't do anything for them this year. There's also a chance they play Caleb Lomu at right tackle and move him there because Morgan Moses is, like, 90. So, but yeah, it gives them options. They need options at tackle. This gives them a few outs. I think, from that standpoint, it's fine.
Debro, your thoughts on this selection by New England to move up and get Caleb Lomu, and how big is the gap between Caleb Lomu and the next offensive tackle on the board?
I'm looking at who's the next guy that we'd have that would be available right here. Like I'm trying to catch
Caleb
up here.
Tiernan, probably.
Oh,
Yeah, Caleb Tiernan might
there's
not
a
go
gap
for
there.
25 picks.
There's
25
a
picks
gap
maybe,
there.
right?
The other thing I'd say about Lomu is like the Patriots just needed to add more depth on the offensive line. Like, is this the year that Morgan Moses falls off? If you're the Patriots, you're praying that's not where we're at. But drafting Lomu is going to give you depth. And look, we get to camp, and if Campbell kicks inside, I wouldn't be shocked.
Guys, we have another selection. With the 29th overall pick, the Kansas City Chiefs have selected Peter Woods, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. Brett, Peter Woods was a guy that when we first started mocking, we thought would go inside the top 10 picks. Bruce Feldman's Freaks List guy, I mean, just awesome athletic ability. But then he sort of hid in the evaluation process, then regained a little bit of steam, does in fact go in the first round. Your thoughts on when you look at Peter Woods and you look at what Kansas City was able to do collectively, adding Mansoor, Delane, and Peter Woods. I mean, to me, it's an awesome draft from them. But your thoughts on Woods, the player, his impact for this Kansas City Chiefs defense, and the two picks together, how well they did tonight.
Yeah, again, another one where it's funny where my working comp is a player the team already has, and my working comp for Peter Woods was Chris Jones light.
Oh.
Very, very similar style of play. And I'm not saying Woods will be as good as Jones, but when you look at the pedigree coming out, they're like real nose tackle heavy prospects that probably best fit at 3 technique in the NFL. And I think he's an explosive gap shooter, really good hand usage. At the end of the day, I think Woods' 2025 tape was extremely disappointing, and that's why he's getting picked here at 29. His 2024 tape, though, would have landed him in the top 10 if he repeated that. So, I love this for the Chiefs. This is a really good pick. Okay, Theo's gone.
Oh, good. We can get crazy now.
I think he was on a delay for a while there with the internet issues. So.
Well, the cat's away, the mice will play. Is that how this goes?
Right.
All right, Debro, the floor is yours. What is the hot button? What do you want to talk about? Ty Simpson to the Rams? Did this blow your mind?
It blew my mind in the sense of like I understand it. Like, I guess like this is. I'm kind of curious of what this means. Like, I know everybody's going to talk about Ty Simpson and a Sean McVay system and blah, 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 blah. Like, how do we all feel about that if Sean McVay says peace out whenever Matthew Stafford says peace out? Like, if that's a year from now, how good are we feeling about that? Like, Brett, I was lower on Ty Simpson. So, like, the fact of taking him at 13th felt very rich. Like, I understand like stick and pick and stuff like that, but like, bro, like that still felt very aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, it is aggressive, Derek, but like at the end of the day, you got to take swings at quarterback. And
No, I get that, but 13th for a guy that was like going to be mocked, like, or at least we were thinking he was going to go later round 1 if he goes in round 1, where it's like, I mean, like,
honestly,
if he does hit, he's still going to be an outlier considering all the other
Sure.
red flags, man.
Sure, I do think consensus on him was all over the place. Like,
That's fair.
The mock draft experts have been telling us all week that every team was interested in him that needed a quarterback, right? They've kind of been steaming it up. They've been preparing us for it. Sometimes those reports are just smoke, and then the guy ends up falling to the 5th round like Shedeur Sanders. But sometimes they do hit. I wrote Ty Simpson up as a guy who should go in that 10 to 20 range. So for me, the way I view Simpson, it makes sense just because of how scarce the position is, the need to take swings. Also, Matthew Stafford, like, he's a big hit away from the back injury flaring up again. So like this makes sense to me.
That's the one thing that I said on the Fantasy Pros show where I was like, with Jimmy G retiring and stuff, this was also like, yes, this is a Super Bowl window and they're pushing for that. They're also looking at their backup quarterback situation and saying if Stafford goes out, we are legit screwed. So whether you want to talk about now or for the future and stuff, like, I'm not high on the pick. If he works out, cool. I wasn't on the show, man. Like when the Kenyon Sadiq pick hit, like y'all got to talk me through this. Like Brett, like tell me what the hell is AG thinking? Like what are we doing here, bro?
I don't know. AG just traded back into the 1st round there.
What's he gonna do now? Like, is he taking a quarterback? Are we gonna see like Garrett Nussmeier go here? Like I don't know. Like
watch him take Jadarian Price or something.
Yeah, something like absolutely stupid, man. I don't understand, dude. I don't understand with the Jets.
I'm going to guess it's Omar Cooper Jr. is what I'm going to guess.
That's my guess. I'm guessing it's a wide receiver.
Yeah, they've been linked to him for a while, and so that'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun if it was Omar.
Uh-oh, Dad's back. Hi, Theo.
Sorry about that. Apologies to Trey Camberling for technical difficulties right now.
Pay the internet bill, Theo. Jeez, man.
I mean, I run pure in the internet department. It just happens to hit in the absolute worst time. Big shout out to Trey.
Do you know how the internet works, Theo?
Guys, listen. This isn't a tech show. This is a ball knowing show.
I love how we're giving Theo the biggest boomer shade here.
When you do a live stream like this,
so
it draws more broadband for your internet. It's hard. It's harder on your internet. So
the pick is in.
Okay.
Omar Cooper is a New York Jet.
There you go.
Boom.
Brett called it.
Is it
Brett
New York Jet?
Yeah.
Yeah, they trade up. So the New York Jet trade up, and New York
So
Jet
they have 3
Omar
picks
Cooper.
in round 1.
So I believe that keeps me tied for
Jeez.
first in the huddle report because I had Omar Cooper going to the New York Jets. So
Well, this makes the
Theo,
Sadiq
you are
pick
running
look
pure.
even grosser.
We're running pure.
You are running pure.
Running pure, guys.
Love that
Buffalo
idea.
Bills at 31 here.
Yeah,
Could
dude.
this be a Denzel Boston spot? Could we get shades of a few years ago, guys? Brett, do you recall it went Xavier Worthy, then you got Ricky Pearsall, and you got Xavier Legette to end out the round. Could we run pure and go all fantasy here to end out the round?
And then who was the first pick of the 2nd round? It was Keon Coleman.
And then Rad McConkey not too far later.
Yeah. The Bills took Keon Coleman over Lad McConkey. So my guess would be if they're going to
Denzel Boston.
Yeah,
Please, Denzel Boston. He'd be a fantastic freaking pick here, man.
I love Denzel. He's so good. It's
He's
not
so
a first round pick,
good.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Seriously, if they let him fall to the 2nd round, some team is getting a damn
it's
steal.
Brandon Bean we're talking about.
Well,
the
yeah.
dumbest GM in the league.
It actually might be bad for us if Denzel Boston goes here. That might mean he stinks. Reverse psychology.
No,
Scott,
I was going to say.
Sorry, Scott, you hate Denzel Boston, don't you? Well, you hate everyone. You whinge about
Yeah, I was
everything.
going to say, Scott hates everybody. So.
I'm the curmudgeon of rookie draft season. I think wide receiver 3 is egregious based on the analytics, but I do know you're an elite ball knower, Brett, and I trust your opinion. D-Bro, you too.
And then I'll throw out one name here, guys. One name we've heard linked with the Buffalo Bills. Big shout out to I had a Bills source saying that they've been linked to Chase Basantis, who's supposed to go in the beginning of round 2, the guard from Texas A&M. This could be the Chase Basantis pick here at 31. but let's root for Denzel Boston to get round 1 draft capital and be attached to Josh Allen. That would be a great way for us to end the draft. Debro, your thoughts on Denzel Boston still being on the board here? I had him in the first round. Brett had him in the first round. I know you did as well. Your thoughts about him still being here?
I think it's insanity to me. Like I mean, go up the board. Why the hell did the Eagles take McKay Lemon over Denzel Boston? Just what the heck, man. Like, but this, I'm rooting for this for betting also. Like this hits, I'm hitting the over 5.5 wide receivers. I'm also hitting a plus 475 of Buffalo drafting a wide receiver first. So regardless of whether I want Boston to go here because I think he'd be freaking awesome. I think he beat everything that they hoped they were getting from Keon Coleman.
My God, the Bills traded back again.
Did they?
Yeah.
Who traded up?
The Titans traded up.
Okay, so this is going to be Denzel Boston, guys. It has to be, right?
No, they took Carnell.
What?
Tate.
They already took Carnell Tate.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Which way do you think Tennessee traded up for then here, Brett? What's the reason?
I'm looking. I'm trying to find something here.
McCoy?
What about a Zion Young or Gabe Akis, something like that? Something on the edge.
Make a lot of sense.
That would make some sense. That would make a lot of sense. So Tennessee trades up. We've seen a number of trades here, but a lot of late movement on these trades. You know, when we look at who they were linked to in the draft process, linked to Sonny Styles, linked to Orville Reese, ultimately go Carnell Tate. Scott Barrett, can I throw out there's another Notre Dame running back. They liked Jeremiah Love in the process. I'll just throw out my guy, Jadari Price. I'm going to wish cast that one. But I think, Brett, you're onto something. I think one of these edge rushers, TJ Parker, could this be TJ Parker?
Yeah, if you're looking for a guy that fits Saleh, I'd say R. Mason Thomas, maybe.
Schefter just tweeted Tennessee looking for wide receiver help. So maybe we're giving too much credit of Calvin Ridley still being on this roster, maybe.
Okay.
If Schefter's right.
Hey, if we walk away with with Tennessee drafting back-to-back wide receivers, I mean, that's the ultimate, hey, we've got Cam Ward. Hey, let's give
Cam Ward
weapons.
will be on the poster boy for every sleeper article that is written this offseason. If this is what happens, he will be.
I mean, Scott, you talk about offensive ecosystems and doing what you can to support your talent on your team. Signing Wandell.
It's an edge.
It is?
Keldrick
Falk. And there we
Again,
go.
another guy we didn't see falling out of the first round. So glad Tennessee, price enforced here.
So Keldrick Falk, I had going 14 picks earlier to your Detroit Lions in my mock draft. Brett, talk about Keldrick Falk because, he's got some elite tools. He's young. This seems like a good pick for Tennessee to make here in terms of swinging for upside at this point in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, completely raw, undeveloped player. He's 21. Part of the issue, Auburn moved him all around their D-line. He played 5 technique. He played wide 9. He, 2-point stance, 3-point stance, 3 technique. It was all over the place. And I think part of that stifled his growth a little bit where you didn't see him develop the technique required to play one of those positions. He's still only 21 years old. I thought his 2024 production was better than his 25 production from a pressure rate standpoint. But, man, the tools are so undeniable. He's such a gifted player, super athletic for the size. He plays at 285, and he's a true edge player with excellent length. This reminds me of the Solomon Thomas pick back when the Jets did that. Saleh likes these undersized 3-tech guys. So I wonder if he views Keldrick Falk as a 3 technique. This is kind of crazy.
Interesting.
Well, I believe I'm in first place alone right now, guys. With
dude, you're running pure, absolutely
Hey,
pure.
what your prize is going to be for winning, Theo? I'm going to pay for. I'm going to personally pay for your Ethernet.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
Guys, listen. The Greminger House. Shout out to Trey Camberling. I'm sure I'm going to get a talking to from Trey. And Trey, I probably going to lean into it. But
dude, just
how
shout
the
out to
sausage
Theo.
is made.
Shout out to Let me
Go
just
ahead,
give
Scott.
you your credit. Right now, you have the best mock draft in the industry. Last year, you finished top 10. You're a fantasy guy. You're on every freaking show on the Fantasy Points YouTube. You know ACC offensive linemen as good as anyone in the world. And you're just so incredibly impressive to me. You have the worst internet in the world, but shout out to Theo for killing it on this live stream and in his mock draft. And all off season on the Fantasy Points YouTube.
Oh God.
Well, let me say that I feel incredibly locked in on NFL draft content because I get to talk to Brett Whitefield every single day, and this year that podcast to launch. So, I mean, if you know what, 2026 NFL Draft Podcast will soon become the 2027 NFL Draft Podcast in a couple months. Make sure you subscribe to that if you want to hear Brett and I breaking down the NFL Draft really all season long. Probably once a month we're going to do it during the college football season, and then I think, Brett, we did a great job this year, and I look forward to doing with you throughout the season. So it's easy to kind of iron sharpens iron. And when I get a chance to podcast with Scott every single week, I get a chance to work with this community at Fantasy Points, and I get to talk ball with Brett Whitefield all the time, then I think I'm going to do well in contests like this.
Oh, that's
D-Bro,
great, Theo. Thanks.
Mr. Irrelevant here in the first round. What does Seattle do here, or do we get another trade?
Hoping we get
They
another
want to
trade.
trade, but I'm hearing they picked. I don't know who it is, but that's what I'm hearing.
By the way, I'm in 13th place right now in the huddle report, so we're both killing it. You're a better
He's
mocker
killing
than me,
it
though,
way
Theo,
more than
so.
the other one.
Well, yeah,
No,
for
13th.
sure.
13th.
I
place
can
is-
definitely tell you my mock draft is probably
we're
dead.
14th is 12th loser.
No, we're one
no.
point apart, Theo. You have 44. I think I have. Oh no, you have.
I'm 48.
Sorry, you're 48. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
5 points.
I think I
apart.
got it. I think it's in the bag.
Should be, unless this is some
yeah.
crazy match. But yeah.
Well, Colton Hood I had going in the first round. I'm sort of rooting for Colton Hood here as the last pick, and I think Seattle taking a cornerback, or could Seattle just take the injury discount on Gerard McCoy and just say they only have 4 picks though, so I would push back on taking an injured guy, but cornerback here makes sense, Brett? Or which way would you go if you're Seattle?
I mocked them, Emmanuel McNeil Warren, just because, safety is a huge part of the Vrabel defense. I even hate saying Vrabel's name right now, but yeah, I have no idea. They need some juice off the edge.
Oh my gosh, here we go, guys! The pick is in.
Oh,
Scott
God.
Barrett is complete.
Oh,
shambles and disarray.
good Lord. Theo's going to be
Theo
in-
Grummager,
Oh,
Theo Grummager runs pure yet again.
You are going to just be
Scott Barrett.
absolutely
Scott
brutal
Barrett.
to deal
Scott
with.
Barrett.
Dear
Scott
Lord.
Barrett. Scott Barrett, please capitulate because I want to hear Scott
God.
Barrett.
Oh my
D-Bro,
God.
I got to hear this. I got to hear this.
It is.
Scott,
it
where
is
are you
just
gonna-
Theo's day. It is just all
Yeah,
about
nobody
Theo.
runs
He's-
pure.
Jadarian
Jeez.
Price, Scott. I want to hear where Scott Barrett's going to have Jadarian Price in his dynasty
Holy
running back
crap.
rankings.
Oh, but he's going way up. This is
Wow.
the whole theme is how awful the 111 is, and now you feel great about Jadarian Price. Ty Simpson has a round 1 draft capital landing spot. Yeah, I don't like the player. I don't like the talent. I think this is a committee backfield, and I think it's a committee talent. But round 1 draft capital on a running back is no joke. And, as much as I want to dump on the analytics, it's hard to have a real take based on the analytics. So I'm going to need Brett to chime in, talk about the film, but you have a small sample with this guy. And the only thing we can really say is he's not as good as Jeremiah Love, which is true of every running back in the class. But according to Seattle, he's a round 1 caliber talent. And that's the most important thing with running backs is
I'm
landing
brushing
spot
the
and draft
haters off my
capital.
shoulders right now, guys.
Theo,
I'm
you should have
brushing
worn
them.
a bigger shirt, bro. You flex any harder, you're busting out of that like the Hulk, man. And you deserve
need a
it.
crown on your head right now.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
crazy.
D-Bro,
Absolute respect.
D-Bro, you weren't as big of a Jadarian Price hater as Scott. Where should Jadarian Price be ranked in like ballpark terms in Dynasty as a running back? Just for the running back position.
Bro, first round draft capital? Shit. I mean, he's got to be what, top 24? Like in Dynasty rankings? Like I'm
A
pulling up mine
million
right now.
1,000,000%.
I would put him with first round capital right now. RB
I'm scared to hear it.
21. RB 21.
But give me names. Give me names.
RB.
You're not
Like I'll
putting
take him
above
over
Keem
Quinshon
Stabbo.
Judkins. I'll take
Yeah.
him over Quinshon Judkins.
I'll take him over,
Harvey.
and I'll take him.
I'll take him over
Cam
Harvey
Sanders.
with another year of Dobbins back. I'll take him over Kyron Williams. I'll take him over DeAndre Swift.
But not Chase Brown.
No, I mean, I think you're living in like the Travion Henderson kind of realm there with him.
What about Kim
Like-
Scadaboo, my guy?
I think the Giants are still alive to take another running back in this draft. So,
Yeah.
But
unfortunately,
there's
like,
no good ones.
well, Mike Washington will say hi. We'll see. But I don't hate Jadarian Price. My whole thing is the proof of like he's going to be the Kenneth Walker of this offense now. Like that's just what he's going to do. So
And Brett Whitefield, who was your comp when we did our player comps? I said peak Tony Pollard, and I've talked about the James Cook thing, but you had a great player comp, and the Seattle seems to agree with Brett Whitefield on this one.
yeah, I'm setting Brett up here.
Yeah, my comp was Kenneth Walker. So
there you
Yeah.
go.
What?
I'm
And
setting
there
him
you
up for
go.
the
So you're
professional
confident.
transition,
Jeez.
sir.
I want
There
to
you
ask
go.
Scott a question right now, though. So, and Ryan Heath, he's not here, but Ryan Heath too. All the whinging you guys did about this class sucks. You got 2 first-round quarterbacks, 2 first-round running backs, a top 15 tight end, and 5 first-round
you know why?
wide
Because
recievers.
this
That
class
class
sucks.
sucks.
It
What-
does
oh my
suck.
god.
Oh, good lord.
Oh my
Scott.
god.
There's no-
It's rage.
I wish
baiting
I
at
was in
its
a league
finest.
so you could trade all your picks to me, Scott. I really
I would
do.
love to, yeah.
Unless I was getting TJ type offers, I would definitely take them all.
You mean you have no interest in Tank Dell and Jack Betch for
Not
Jeremiah?
really. Not for the 101.
Okay, and Ryan Heath is pouring cold water on this one, saying, "How did Kenneth Walker work out for fantasy for the Seahawks last year? Guy was the Super Bowl champion. If
Oh,
your league
come
was
on.
playing, if your league was playing fantasy in the NFL playoffs, or you're in an NFL playoff contest, we're gonna break it down with Ryan Heath tomorrow, though, guys. And shout out to Trey Camberling. We might do something during the day tomorrow, Trey. If Trey is good with that one, breaking down some of these winners and losers. Fantasy Football Daily, School of
Trey
Scott.
needs a nap.
Dynasty Life, Dynasty Points. We're going to be breaking down all week long, but might have to get on the mic tomorrow, Trey, talk about winning the huddle report and how Dynasty managers won. Dynasty managers won
You know-
tonight, guys. Dynasty
Theo, you know what we
managers
should
won.
do before we sign off? We got to finish the tier rankings. Let's do the tier list.
Yes, let's go to it. Let's go to it right now.
Boom.
Okay, so let's go down the list. What pick do you want to start with? Let's go Jadarian Price here. Let's let Scott Barrett rank it.
Okay.
Can't be a D. Can't be a D.
It's an
obviously.
a B. I don't know. It's like based on expectations, it's an S.
Well, let me also throw out one other factor with this. Seattle has 4 total picks in this NFL draft, and they used one of them
They
on Jadarian
stuck.
Price in the first round.
They stuck and picked. Wow, dude.
So Trey put it as an S, which I think for fantasy, based on my expectations, yeah, round 1 draft capital is insane for a guy who's never had 150 touches in a single college season.
It is literally crazy. It's so
It-
crazy.
it is absolutely like drunk. It
It's
is
the same
drunk.
team that took Rashad Penny in the first round.
I was
though, so
damn it, Brett. I was gonna say the same thing. Yes, it's the same freaking GM that took Rashad Penny. So
Yeah.
you know, well, if we're following that logic, so Emmanuel Wilson's gonna win the starting job at a camp. If we're using the
Oh,
Penny
snap.
logic, right? Like,
That's not a bad call.
Let's go. I'm just looking at my phone. I'm getting a bunch of industry people texting me about my huddle report win. Let's go through the list.
let them
Keep going.
wait, Theo. Let the king. You do your
Caleb
job.
Lomo-
You're the king.
Caleb Lomu pick. Let's let Brett Whitefield and Debro take this one. New England addressing the offensive line
D.
position, leaning into it. Your thoughts on this one, Brett?
D.
I know you don't like the player.
Yeah, D. It's not a good player. Don't
C or
like the
D.
fit.
I'm with Brett.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm fine with it.
Okay, what's the next one you want to do here, Brett?
Well, let's go. We still have Bane on there. It looks like Reuben Bane.
Oh,
A.
Bane's got to be an S tier.
I'll say A. It's
Okay,
still red
put him in the
flags. There's still multiple red flags in the profile, Theo.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
the
like
dude's got production, man. Yeah, I that's fine. I get with the red flags. I mean,
Where do
I'm
you have
between
him
S and A.
in your big board, Brett. Where do you have him in your big board?
probably 5, something like that.
So you had it at 5, and he goes.
And they got
15.
him at 15, though.
Yeah. So how is that not
That,
S?
that,
He's your
that's
fifth
got to be an
ranked
S,
player.
right, Brett?
Because
He's your
it's
fifth ranked player.
Yeah, but the draft is risk management. I'm not giving anyone an S for taking a player with severe off-field issues and historically low arm length. It's just not.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I think A is generous considering the circumstances.
Okay, so let's
I
go.
think A's right.
Let's go with Vega Ione. Let's go with the S tier for Ione.
That's an S tier. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be S tier. Right?
Yeah, I'll say S tier.
I'm with S. Yeah.
S tier.
Okay, how about the Peter Woods selection?
He went. Remind me where he went again. Sorry.
Put it back on the screen.
I was
Let's
just
go-
having to look up the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Chiefs.
I'm
Yeah,
sort of-
yeah.
Chiefs.
I like that. That's A.
Yeah, especially as
gonna
late
say-
as
I
they
was gonna
got him,
B.
man.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say B.
I'm with A.
Okay, Omar Cooper to the Jets. And guys, can we talk about this one? It's Omar Cooper and Kenyon Sadiq. So stylistically, they help the offense, but how gross is that for Kenyon Sadiq to get a Omar Cooper also joining the Jets? And it sort of nukes the Adonai Mitchell. Scott, your quick thoughts on this one. Let's let you rank the Omar Cooper selection because you were trashing Sadiq. But now you have him in the D tier. What about Cooper?
Can we move Sadiq down to an F now? This makes it even worse. More target
There
competition.
is no F tier.
It's not great for the ascot Adonai Mitchell. It's not great for Cooper. It's not great for Sadiq, and it's a dysfunctional franchise. It's the Bermuda Triangle of suck. So I'm gonna give it a D. Anyone who gets drafted by the Jets from now on is an F or a D.
But Scott, this is going to reignite the Geno Smith as a top 10 quarterback talk. I mean,
Oh, you remember?
you
that.
know
Oh,
it's coming. You
Oh,
know
two-
it. You know
I
it's
did not
coming.
victory lap that as much as I should have, but
Tune
yeah.
into Mina Keems on Monday for this discussion.
Geno
Breaking news
just gonna
from,
Geno rides again, baby.
Just to make Scott and I think Brett will probably be angrier at this one. John Harbaugh has come out and said that Orville Reese will start at inside linebacker next to Tremaine Edmonds. He'll move all
That's
over.
where he belongs. The problem
Okay.
is you took him over Sonny Styles.
Yes.
and that's
what the
point.
hell?
And that's the point.
Yes.
And that's the point.
Yes.
And then he said he confirmed what Brett told you a couple hours ago that Francis Maui Noah would kick inside to right guard. And John Harbaugh confirmed that. So let's keep tiering, but that's from Art Stapleton, who's a good source of Giants information. Okay, so we've got the Scott. I kind of interrupted the Cooper thing, and then we've also got to talk about who else do we have to go through, Brett?
There's a bunch.
Well, I'm looking at the guys at the bottom of the board. We didn't do Proctor yet. Let's
Well,
do
there's
Proctor.
clearly not right. There's clearly not 32 players on that tier sheet. I don't think, but
Yeah.
yeah, Proctor.
So let's-
he went to the Dolphins, right, in their trade back.
Yep.
Let's go B on that one. Keep it with that, Freeling, Miller, INHR. I think that's all roughly the same.
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
What did we do with
that.
Cooper? We didn't place Cooper.
Well, we're letting Scott do it.
Scott, do it.
I gave him a D or an
All
F.
right, D.
Everyone that goes to the Jets, D or F, always forever.
Well, how does Omar Cooper get a D ranking when he fills an obvious need and they get him at 30 instead of 16?
What obvious need? The Ascot's the man. Garrett Wilson's
No.
a PPR cheat code.
You
You have
can't
two
put
tight
Cooper
ends.
as a D. Brett and I both had Cooper as the.
All right,
So
give him a-
Brett,
give
who
him
did
a
you have in your
C.
mock
Hold
draft? You had
It's
Omar Cooper
C
going
for
to the Jets in the mock draft.
capitulation to the mock god Theo Greminger.
Okay, C
I
is
bow
fine.
down.
C is
Scott, come on.
fine. Here's the problem for fantasy guys: Cooper and Sadiq. There's so much overlap to what they do.
Yeah, I just
Short area catch and run type players. It's not necessarily like the end of the world, but there's just no way they're both relevant for fantasy. It's impossible.
well the same thing. What the hell are you doing with Mason Taylor? He ain't stretching the damn seam.
I
Like
think they
wh-
forgot
what-
they drafted him. Apparently, like what?
I feel like that was like basically kicking the former OC straight in the crotch out the door.
Yeah.
Like, like, hey, that was his pick. We hate it. Like,
Yeah, Keldrick Falk. We didn't do. Let's get him up there. I'll go
Keldrick
B
Falk-
on that one.
Yeah, I think a B is about right.
good call. Yep.
He got drafted exactly where he should have with the profile. It's
Yep.
like, a little raw, so there's risk, but very talented upside. But
Somebody in the chat does not like your Caleb Lomu hatred.
Oh, okay. Is he a New England fan? Is it
I don't
Ryan
know.
Heath?
I don't know.
I was fixing to say,
It's Ryan Heath's burner. It's Ryan Heath's burner. Who else do we have to do? I'm getting a little. Oh yeah.
Oh wow, he called me the R word over my Lomu take. Jeez,
Yeah.
man. It's not that
Yeah.
serious, my guy.
Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson we need to do.
Oh, let's call that a B too, at least for me,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, I agree. B or C.
And then I think that's everyone that we needed to grade, correct? Did we miss anybody here?
Eli Stowers. Didn't he go to the Patriots, like I said? No.
He's still in your fictional grade, Scott.
Did we do
I
Messidor? Yeah, we did, right? Don't see him up there.
All right. Well,
Well, that's
we got
okay.
it. We did. Good job.
Question in the chat. We have a super chat question. IDP, who's your first overall pick? I'd say if I'm playing IDP, it's Sonny Styles all day long, every day with this class right now, with what he's going to bring to the position. Brett, where are you at?
I don't have any clue how IDP scoring works. I'm assuming tackles matter, and so Sonny
Yes.
Styles.
Yes.
I'll go with y'all
count
since
downs,
I don't play
yeah.
IDP either. I'll defer to Theo
Sorry.
there.
Maybe
I'm
we
not
need
an IDP guy. I'm not an IDP guy, but I did podcast with our guy Sigmund Bloom, who does a combined rankings for IDP, and Sig was all over Sonny Styles for IDP.
So Theo, you just went, I'm not an IDP guy, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. Is that basically what
no,
you
I'm
just
saying that I'll defer to the GOAT on IDP, and that's Sigmund Bloom. We had another question in the chat that was interesting, Scott. Who's sort of the biggest veteran winner here that gets out of this without any competition? It's got to be Scadaboo, or is there somebody else that jumps out to you?
That's a good one. I don't know.
Terry McLaurin to me avoids
That's another
a
good one.
a new hotness wide receiver. And he
George
also
Pickens
avoids
doesn't get a
Jeremiah
running
Love.
mate. I'll throw that in there.
For now, I think we could see things play out day two, an AJ Brown trade, and at least George Pickens rumors.
Let's go back to the tier list because somebody in the chat wants to know where we put Peter Woods.
He was.
We put him in A, right?
We didn't
thought he
put
was
him
A
up
or-
there
A or
officially. I
B.
think we were talking about him, but we've gone off the rails here.
It's
at
possible he ran out of
11:15.
space in the A column and he got deleted or something. Is that possible, Trey?
Okay, so we're gonna officially call him an A.
Yeah, it's definitely an A.
Okay,
They
then we've
crushed
got to
it. They had
move
Delane
Reuben
and
Bane
Woods
to
both
the
an
S
A.
just for space. Let's move Reuben Bane to the S tier just for spacing, so it looks cleaner. So Trey can tweet this out.
Whatever the mock god wants, the mock god gets. You know.
Shout out
Pollard
to
is another big winner, by the way. Shout out to Tom.
Yeah, shout out to Thomas
OTP.
Tipple with a great call, and I'll say for the best ball drafters out there, Tony Pollard, Scott, in my Dynasty Market Report article, we
That's
talked
right.
about some of
That's
the players that get nuked. Pollard was running back 36 and underdog, so a lot of people are sitting there with Tony Pollard running back 36 bags in their pre-NFL draft contest. So I think that ends up becoming a really fun best ball pick. Now Tennessee could end up picking another running back this draft, but Tony Pollard looks like a winner. Wan'Dale Robinson, a loser, I think, with the Carnell Tate selection, because the idea that Wan'Dale is going to show up and be a 150 target guy takes a hit when they use the number 4 overall pick on someone. But a couple other guys, I think, obviously Cam Scadaboo, that's a really big winner here. And I think that the A.J. Brown trade looks like it's going to happen because of the Mekhi Lemon situation. Scott pushed back on that one, D-Bro, but do you think he's got to be good as gone after they take Lemon and move up for him?
Oh yeah, I think AJ Brown's gone. I think he's gone. I think it's just a case of like the money and waiting until June. I think he's gone. I'll also toss out with San Francisco not drafting a wide receiver unless I'm having a stroke and forgetting something here. Ricky Pearsall, quiet winner right now. We'll see what happens on
That's a
day
great
2,
call.
but
Could we see, Trey, if you don't mind, could you pull up one of these second round order so we can just quickly talk through the first few picks before we get off here, guys, and look at some of the landing spots for some of the players that we still have on the board. Obviously, Jadarian Price is gone. Ty Simpson is gone, but we still have a couple of wide receivers here. Chris Brazzell, obviously Denzel Boston, but the second round becomes a little less fun for fantasy football, doesn't it, D-Bro, after so many guys ran pure and went in round 1?
yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. Boston not going in round one, I didn't see that. So, we're going to see what round two has to offer for us. But I definitely think the rookie drafts are looking a little bit better right now.
Yeah, and Eli Stowers, could we end up seeing a landing spot with Kansas City at 40? So Kansas City passes on Scott. This could be like a kind of a dream situation for you because Kansas City passes on wide receiver in round one. They had 2 chances to grab one.
Wow.
They go defense, and then 40 overall is just sitting there. If Denzel Boston is off the board, then that could end up being a dream Stowers spot.
Yeah, so Chiefs at 40. Honestly, maybe the Bengals at 41, Miami Dolphins at 43. That is really, I mean, even the 49ers at 33. Because
Saints too, Scott. Like Juwan Johnson ain't young, bro.
And so any of those landing spots puts him well ahead of Sadiq to me. And I don't think that's a controversial take, even factoring in draft capital. But yeah, tune in tomorrow. There's a lot of excitement. Your guy, Debro, Brett, your guy, Denzel Boston, my guy, Eli Stowers. We got a bunch of running backs who, like we said, there's good landing spots, even if we're not as high on the class. And Chris Bell, another one of your guys, Brett. I think you had a round one grade on him. So yeah, plenty of actionable fantasy players. And we got a super chat. Thanks to Brawley, Hansen, and Trey for their draft bets. Ended up plus 5 units. Already paid for my fantasy point subscription and some. We hear that all the time, guys. Yeah, get in on fantasy points. Use our promo code that's available only now until Mr. Irrelevant's called 15% off. Other sites do 50% off, 70. We don't do that. This is the craziest we're going to be. 15% off. And you're not going to get a better offer until into the NFL season. And like this guy, it paid for itself and then some. And that's just what we keep hearing over and over again. So it's the gift that keeps on giving, pays for itself. fantasypoints.com. We have the best mock drafter of all time, they're saying, and Theo Greminger, the best podcaster, YouTuber, mock draft, better than Brett. People much better than Brett is what I'm hearing.
Kicked my ass.
Brett
I'll
wasn't
own
even
it.
in the top 12. He was 13.
Brett, listen, guys. Brett crushes it in everything that he does. But yeah, this was an awesome night for us. A big shout out to Trey Camberling behind the scenes with all these incredible graphics. Big shout out to John Hansen, Ryan Heath, of course, our boy Debro, who you're going to get Debro breaking it down tomorrow. Debro, we got to do like a live rookie draft tomorrow inside of round 3 after we get a couple of these landing spots. Can we see the
baby.
order for round 2? Let's look at a couple of Denzel Boston landing spots. I mean, the obvious one
Buffalo,
is 33 overall
please.
with the 49ers, but 49ers could go edge rusher there, Brett. What's another spot? Bills at 35 would be great for Boston. What about the Vegas Raiders at 36 overall, adding a wide receiver like Boston to that Clint Kubiak scheme? Your thoughts, Brett, on where we see Boston?
Muted.
I think Brett's on mute.
I said, yeah, I think you covered it pretty thoroughly there with all those. Maybe Texans too. If the Nico smoke is for real, maybe Texans get involved. But Chiefs at 40.
Chiefs at 40. Yes, Brett.
Yeah, be a great spot. Maybe Surratt too at 36 is an option. The Rat Surratt.
Any other player that Brett specifically at the skill positions besides Stowers and Boston that fantasy managers need to keep an eye on heading into day 2, besides Surratt, who you talked about?
Chris Bell, for sure. Sam Roush, I'll mention him 1,000 times. Antonio Williams.
What's our bet with Sam Roush?
Pick 50.
What's our bet?
Pick 50.
Okay. So Brett Whitefield and I have a dinner bet for next year. And you know what? We're going to include Debro in on this bet. Debro is just going to be there hanging with us at dinner, and one of us will have to pay for Debro as well. So it's a dinner bet, and Brett has great taste in restaurants in Mobile, so it's not going to be something cheap.
I was say Brett's a foodie.
So
we're getting
Sam Roush, 49.5 or 50.
No, it's 50. I get 50 and under, and you get over 50.
So what happens if he's the 50th overall pick? It's a
I
push.
win. I win.
No, you don't. Not with that.
On the phone when we talked about it, I said
Theo
50.
wants to get the hook right now.
I get
fine,
50
fine,
and
you got
under.
it.
Yeah.
You got it. 50. You got it.
Hey,
You got it.
there's no way Theo's losing. This is Theo's world, and we're all just
Theo's
living
running
in it.
pure, dude. I don't think we're gonna get.
Well,
I don't
50,
think you get this.
50 was strategic because I know the team picking 50th likes him. So how about that?
Who's picking 50?
Well,
And shout out to Chris Wecht.
Lions.
Chris Wecht is all over Jadarian Price here. Scott, look, already at RB27.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Not a bad run out.
That's 3 spots below Jeremiah Love in his rough draft projections.
Well, we're going to be breaking down. We're going to be breaking down the projections on School of Scott sometime in the next 10 days or so, Scott. And I really want to talk to Chris on that one because I think when you look at the projections for Jeremiah Love, he's still projecting that it's going to be like Algier usage, James Conner usage. I think
we're in
something's
the
going to shake
projections
out
channel. I'm hearing him talk it out. He's saying he's not projecting like James Conner for anything. He's not projecting a 3-headed monster. I think that's way too low, his initial projection. Like, I'm with you on that, but I think I'm going to be somewhere in between where you have and where Chris has him. But this price projection, yeah, man, I mean, this is crazy. Shout out to you for calling it. I have Price already on some Dynasty teams that drafted pre-draft, but yeah, this is way better than I was expecting.
Yeah, for sure. Really, really fun draft. Debro, let everybody know where they can find your work. I know that you crushed it this offseason with a lot of draft coverage, but you're going to be also breaking it down. Let everybody know where they can find it.
I mean, everything's at Fantasy Pros. We'll be covering day 2 of the NFL draft. I'll be on with the boys over at Fantasy Pros for round 2 and then hopping over here for round 3. I'm updating, like, whenever we get off of here, I'm literally like changing into some PJs and I'm going to be writing. So like every school player that got drafted tonight, I'm updating their dynasty outlook tonight, getting ahead of that. I'll have draft grade articles, both AFC, like basically every freaking team live on Monday. Seth Wilcock and I on the Fantasy Pros NFL Draft Show will be breaking down all the stuff, recapping everything on Monday as well.
Yeah, make sure you're tuning in for everything Debro's doing. Make sure you check out his articles. And also, he's going to be with us tomorrow, so you can see him right here on this channel. Brett Whitefield, any overarching thoughts before we end the stream here on the way this draft shook out?
No, I think, you really nailed it. I think I was pretty on the pulse as well. I think this class, from a fantasy standpoint, was strong, despite what the haters said, Scott. I think running back now at this point falls off a cliff. I do agree with Air. There's still a bunch of good wide receivers left, though. There's good tight ends left. So,
who won the draft? Who gets an A+ grade in your book?
So Chris Wecht actually he actually built a model that measures pick value based on my big board, and based on he just tweeted out the results. Looks like the best pick of the draft for me was Caleb Downs. Casey Conception was second. Reuben Bane third, Sonny Styles fourth. So the Chiefs have two pretty high. Yeah.
My team has the worst pick. Oh no!
No,
you need to root for better teams, Scott.
Keelan Ratledge is the worst pick.
Oh, okay. It's okay. I see it.
Yeah, but
still, Orville Reese not great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think really for me it's Kansas City Chiefs, Brett. For what they were able to do and what they crushed it. And they still have that 40th overall pick. So what are they going to do? Tune in for it. And make sure you're subscribed to Dynasty Life and School of Scott and Fantasy Football Daily. Scott Barrett and I are going to be breaking down how you should treat these rookies in your Dynasty rookie drafts. And we're going to hear Scott Barrett's capitulation on Jadarian Price all week long. It's going to be incredibly lit. Make sure you're sticking with us on the channel. If you enjoyed this stream, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Doesn't cost you anything. It helps us out a lot. And check out our sale over at fantasypoints.com. You're not going to regret a Fantasy Points sub. We have amazing tools, amazing articles, amazing rankings, and more. Use the code PointsDraft26. Get 15% off. We'll see you in like 18 hours. See you tomorrow.
That's him. That's the OG.